You're live. We're live. I did that last time.
Are we really?
Yep.
Okay,
we're live.
yeah, we are live.
We are the live. Welcome to the Lucky Hit Podcast, episode 69. Obvious joke there.
Number.
On the 4th of May 2020. Other obvious joke there.
Yeah, you know, my favourite Star Trek thing.
Yeah, it's Star Trek Day.
Favourite.
I love Firefly, it's great.
Star Gladiator Day.
My favourite character is Gollum.
Right, I think we've pissed everyone off.
Just our views just dropped right down.
From 2 to 0.
We tried.
And then up to 3.
Ooh. That's alright. That's good. So yeah, welcome.
New record.
Welcome to our weekly podcast about the video games.
The video games. Not just any video games. The video games.
The video games. So, because it's a podcast about the video games, I guess we should talk about the video games that we've been playing. Don't know who wants to go first.
Really?
Should we do the roll call?
Oh yes.
I thought we were going to talk about politics.
I should probably do roll call. I'm the Gagaman.
I'm CherryT.
I'm Murry Curry.
I'm Shelved Gamer.
I'm Hunk Thunder.
And I'm Sir Elk. That's right, I've been knighted.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Of course, you had to do it from home because you know
Yes.
it was done over.
Yes,
it was
yes.
done over Zoom. It was done on Zoom. They just placed the sword
Yeah,
on your shoulder through your webcam.
Yeah. That's what the Queen. That's exactly how the Queen of England.
So you turned it to a potato and it's stuck.
What?
Have you not seen that about the?
What?
Sorry about that.
You've seen that about it was like a conference call done by Zoom, and someone pressed like a face filter by accident, and they didn't know how to reverse it, so she remained a potato for the rest of the call.
Oh.
I've seen much worse things.
Yeah, it's one of those face filters.
Right. So yeah, now you know who we all are. I guess we should talk about what video games we've been playing. I guess. So I
Yeah.
don't know who wants to go first.
Just for a change, I'll go first.
Cool.
Cool.
It's been Animal Crossing again. I know. It's since day one it was released, but it's just that fun. But I've played other things.
You are allowed to talk about Animal Crossing, you know. You don't have to avoid the
Yeah,
issue
I know,
every
right?
week. You'd be going,
Oh,
I've been playing
yeah,
it, but you don't want to know
It
about
is a
that.
video game. It is a video.
As far as this lockdown's been, it's been the video game for a lot of people. So you know.
But I've also been playing some Streets of Rage 4.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would
man, it's
have
good stuff.
screamed if nobody mentioned Streets of Rage 4 during this podcast.
I think a few of us have probably played it.
I really want to, but I'm just
Not me.
I don't have the game yet. I actually ordered the Switch version from Limited Run Games, so
Same
I gotta
here.
wait for that to be printed.
So two of us have played it.
Yeah, and
But you know
we're
what?
going to be waiting about 3 months probably.
Yeah.
I did watch My Life in Gaming live stream the game last night.
Oh yeah. Digital Foundry have a good video about it as well.
Yeah,
it looks.
I have
amazing.
not watched Digital Foundry in a while. I still haven't watched their video on the what was it? The Evercade?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
We talked about it last week. Yeah, that's how I found out about it actually.
Yeah, without giving too much away about Streets of Rage 4, it does pay tribute to the previous 3 games, and it does it in such a way that, you know, you're just going to think, oh, that was in that game, oh, that was in that game, and
Hey.
yeah, it is that good.
Yeah. It's I might go as far as to say it's a perfect sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It ticks all the boxes and improves in all the areas that matter.
I've heard people
What I've
saying it's
seen-
the Sonic Mania of
Yes.
scrolling beat 'em ups for sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair.
That's the perfect analogy for it.
Yeah.
From what
And I
I've
remember-
seen, it does look like that.
I remember during that live stream I mentioned earlier, My Life in Gaming was also talking about how Sega ought to consider doing like a Mania series of like revitalizations of their old Genesis games.
Yeah.
I think they referred to it as like I forget what they called it, Streets of Mania type of thing.
I mean, they should just make Lizard Cube like second party or something, really, at this point.
Yeah.
It would. I could go into this later. I'll rant about this later. But Sega could have published the game.
I know, right?
Just a thought. Like they could have had the
They
balls to
could
actually.
have. I mean,
publish the thing.
they published Sonic Mania.
Well, yeah, but what I'm talking about is.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. They could have and they should have published Sonic. Not Sonic. Streets of Rage 4.
There's so many
Because
games in the last few years they could have published, but they just were too chicken shit to bother. I get it. Their franchises, as popular as they are with certain gamers and stuff, they're not going to make a ton of money. Shenmue 3, I totally get why they passed up on publishing that themselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
because
I guess.
the first game and the second game almost make them bankrupt, and the only reason they're even still around today is because their president threw in a load of his own money before he died. So
Yeah.
Shenmue almost made them bankrupt, so I don't blame them for that.
And the money that Shenmue 3 made in the end from all its crowdfunding and all its investors, that would have been way too much for Sega back then or today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, obviously Shenmue 3 was made on a tiny fraction of the budget of the original game, because obviously things have changed. It was done on a proprietary engine. It wasn't like built from scratch in a way.
Honestly, it's kind of amazing they made the kind of game they did with their budget limitations.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I might as well mention it now. But speaking of limited run games, I had just the Switch version, just the game on its own, pre-ordered, and then they put up this $150 limited edition, which comes with a Genesis case with a metal silver cartridge. It's got a resin statue of Blaze and Axel. It's got the soundtrack on CD. It's got a steelbook. I think it's got an art book.
Nice special edition.
It's very, very, very nice. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can just cancel my pre-order for the regular game and maybe get this, because I was seeing all the reviews and I saw people saying this game's like incredible and exactly what they wanted. I was like, okay, I think this deserves a special edition purchase. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I can cancel my pre-order seeing as they haven't even pressed the game yet. Nope, there is no way to cancel your pre-order on the website. You have to email them, be put in a queue, and then wait for them to get back to you about a cancellation.
And I'm scared to cancel these sort of things.
Works?
Yeah. So I was waiting for that reply for this email, just saying, oh, I'm considering getting a collector's edition. Can I cancel my regular edition? And they didn't get back to me. The thing went live, and I thought, oh, I'll go through with the order and see what happens. The postage to the UK was $40 on top. And I was like, I can't justify this. Like, $150 is a lot of money as it is, but an extra almost third of the price on top of that. Like, I get it. It probably, it's just insane.
I'm sorry, man.
So I just had to bail out, and I even replied to the email just saying, I've changed my mind. Like, I'm going to just stick with the game, I think, because in the long run, it's the game I want. All the other stuff's just bonus. It's just stuff, really. I'm not really that concerned about it.
I just pre-ordered the regular Steelbook edition, and I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Even with the lower shipping, because I'm a US native, it's way too much for my blood.
So even like the regular games just on their own, the postage for those is about $15, and even that kind of stings a little bit. But it's not as bad as 40.
My total order when I got Streets of Rage, it wasn't just that. I also got the Panzer Dragoon game in the Saturn case, and I got a Bluetooth Saturn controller. And the shipping on those three things altogether was $15.
Oof.
And I think if I bought just one of those things, it would have been like $5 or $7 for shipping.
Wow, that's so much cheaper. Basically, I just really wish Limited Run Games would find some kind of European distributor, like maybe have some of their stuff over here as well, so we're not always having to import it from America. And as I was saying earlier, if Sega actually bothered to publish one of their famous IPs for once, I wouldn't have to do this. I wouldn't have to import games from America. I wouldn't have to get them from a limited run thing where you have to wait months after it comes out to even play it. You know.
And
I can't rant. I can't wait to rant about that later.
And the thing is, it's not even that cheap digitally. I mean, it's not
No,
absurd.
that's what I mean. If it was cheap digitally, I would have just bought it digitally now, play it now, and then wait for the physical version as well. But it's not cheap enough to really warrant doing that. But
No.
I mean, it is on Xbox Game Pass, but I don't even know if that also.
I believe it's
allows you to
also
play
on
Windows.
PC Game Pass. Yeah, you can play it on Windows as well. No, apparently the Windows Store version of the game was kind of busted. Like people were opening it and it just weren't loading or something.
Damn.
I don't know if they fixed it. Apparently the Steam version is fine, but the Windows Store version is just for some reason messed up.
Windows Store messes up almost all of their games, man.
Yeah, that's because it's Windows Store and it's awful.
It's like games for Windows Live all over again. I mean, not as bad.
Pretty much. It pretty much is, yeah.
Yeah, I played the Windows 10 version myself earlier. There were all pieces. Oh, okay, good.
Sorry?
I was just saying that's the version you got, was it?
Yeah, Windows Store
Game
or-
Pass, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a few bits here and there where the sound cuts out for a second, but nothing too major. But yeah, I was in the same boat as Gagaman there. I actually had the special edition in the basket on limited run games, and I just couldn't bring myself to.
Yeah, same here. I was so close to the buy button and I saw that postage and saw the total price and I was like, no, I can't do it. Especially if they're going to take so long to refund my previous one as well. It's just like,
plus waiting on the game itself as well on top of that. So.
Yeah.
I just wish there was some easy way to get this over here. If that collector's edition was available in this country and I could just get it from Amazon or something, I would have grabbed it immediately.
It double hurts because Sega's always been the thing that Europe loved.
Yes,
It becomes
yeah.
And we're the ones who have to jump through hoops. And I'm not saying America should have to jump through hoops, but I'm saying that
that Monster Boy game, America only physically.
I know.
America only physically.
Who the hell played Wonder Boy in America back in the day?
No, exactly. They didn't care about the Mars system.
Not to mention LizardCube.mu and Guard Crush Games are all European. They're French.
Yeah.
They're all European developers.
Yeah.
That is really wanky.
So like, just the fact that Sega trusted. I'm not saying they shouldn't trust anyone from Europe, obviously, but just the fact that they entrusted European developers with such a legendary IP of theirs, like Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Just like they really saw something special in these guys.
I mean,
I think the Wonder Boy remake did it, didn't it? The Wonder Boy remake was what made it. Yeah, I think.
Wonder Boy remake it's a perfect remake. So, and this is a perfect sequel. So
I like to think that Wonder Boy remake and Sonic Mania both convinced Sega to start trusting indie developers with some of their old IPs.
Well, it's funny because it feels like they trust them, but at the same time they don't. They don't trust them enough to actually publish the games themselves. Yeah. That's what annoys me. Because they this just happened time and time again.
They humour them, don't they?
Yeah, they humour them. The thing that got me the most was on Sega's Twitter, they retweeted a PlayStation tweet, and it was, share your favourite games of April on PlayStation. And the picture was of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 3, and Streets of Rage 4. And Sega retweeted it. And they went, don't forget to vote for Sakura Wars. And I was like... Guys, I'm happy for you that you're finally localizing what is technically also a classic IP in Japan.
Yep.
I'm glad for that, but guys, Streets of Rage 4 is right there, and it's the best-selling game on every format right now.
And you can't say that Streets of Rage is more obscure than Sakura was.
No, no,
not in the West.
No,
it's
just. Yeah, it just baffles me. I don't understand the way they function sometimes. Like, they've always been like
me
this.
Neither.
Being a Sega fan is pain.
It hurts.
I can understand if they didn't trust Lizard Cube when it came to Wonder Boy, because they hadn't proven themselves yet.
No.
But at the same time, they did trust Christian Whitehead and his boys enough to not only published Sonic Mania, but they had Sonic Team directly assisting them with the game.
I think the exception with that one is it's Sonic. They're going to publish a Sonic game. They're not going to not publish a Sonic game.
Right.
I mean,
that's just not going to happen.
I don't know if you know the story of Wonder Boy, but Omar, the guy who was behind Wonder Boy 3 remake, he originally developed the Mecha emulator.
Yes.
For Sega Master System emulator, and he was.
I never heard of that.
Oh, it's quite a big emulator in for Sega Master System, and he completely built that engine, but he also was just for fun, completely reverse engineering Wonder Boy 3 because it was his favorite game. And he just got to the point where he'd essentially rebuilt the game from scratch and thought, well, why don't we just put new assets in and call it a remake and approach Sega basically with a proof of concept that was mostly already done. So that probably helped convince them because they knew
the Wonder Boy remake is literally
it's
literally the game. It is. You can put the passwords you had saved from your original game into the new one, and they work exactly as they were.
Yeah. It's essentially an updated version of the exact same engine.
That's why it has that on the fly filter button to just swap between new and old graphics because it's
and it'll run on a potato as because of that, and like Streets of Rage is obviously it's not a backported game; it's a completely new engine, but it's very, very well optimized. I can tell you now the Switch version runs beautifully. Locked 60. You imagine.
I saw making of videos where they were talking about how they were studying the original games frame by frame, looking at all the as much of the code as they could to figure out how the behavior works. Because I think the thing that makes Streets of Rage, what separates it from other scrolling beat 'em ups of its era, I think Digital Foundry explained it best, is where the enemies, they don't just run towards you and punch you.
Like Final Fight.
They sort of rotate around you. They try and move.
They will try and move away. Use the up and down plane.
Yes.
They'll use the Y-axis more. Whereas in Final Fight, they literally are told to make a beeline for you.
I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, it's quite clever, especially if you fight like the Y signals and that. They will try and get out of your way a lot.
I mean, I've noticed it with those guys, but I haven't paid close attention to Streets of Rage to see how often that happens.
If you watch
Digital Foundry's video has a lot of making of stuff in it, which is really cool.
They show you they get the engine and they show like the lines that are drawn between you and the enemy, and in real time how the line is telling them to move to different spots as you move, and it's quite clever
and stuff like
I'm gonna have to remember to look out for this next time I play the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle.
It's much more simple, like the early Capcom Beat 'em Ups. They were great games, especially for their time, but they were much more simple in the AI department, I think.
Oh, definitely.
I gotta remember it when I play Arcade Archives Double Dragon as well, because I just bought that because it was on sale.
That's tedious, that game.
It's definitely a product of its time.
It's one of those games where they literally made a better product on the NES, I think. To the point where the original designer of the game said, the NES versions are canon, not the arcade versions.
Yeah, that's why they keep re-releasing the NES
wasn't that
ones.
game on Master System as well? What about
Sadly.
that?
Was, yeah.
Sadly.
I've got that. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's a harsh port.
Well, look on the bright side. At least it's not the Atari 2600 version.
Yes, that's hilarious. That
I'm surprised they even tried.
Oh yeah, you could argue they didn't.
It's amazing they got something resembling Double Dragon to work on the Atari 2600 of all things.
Yeah,
but
that's almost commendable.
Resembles a strong word.
Maybe they should have aimed for 7800.
Yeah, maybe that could have worked.
So has it mainly been Streets of Rage 4 you've been playing, Hunk Thunder?
A little bit of Asphalt 9 as well.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, of course you joined my Lucky Hit team, didn't you?
Yep.
We've actually got 3 members now.
Alright. And also, probably going to touch a bit more on it later, Ninjala.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
You know what, I almost forgot about that, but yeah, we were playing that earlier in the week. They did like a 1-hour beta a few times at the start of the week, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried to play that open beta, but it went live for unusual times in North America. Like one time, it was at 11 o'clock at night, and that's the only time I was able to actually make time to play. But then they had emergency maintenance during that period, so I actually couldn't play at all.
Yeah, basically the first hour they did, it barely worked at all. I think we got a couple matches in, and then it was just constant connection errors. But once they got to, I think it was the third and final hour of it, it was working smoothly, and we got. Did you want to talk about it a little bit, Hunk?
For me, that last hour was at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I couldn't. I had to sleep during that time. I couldn't make it. At least you guys had fun.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. That last one must have been at 5 o'clock in the afternoon for Japan, which probably the market.
Yeah, lucky you guys. It was at a more reasonable time for both you and the Japanese players.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one we couldn't play was the one that's for us was I think that 11 in the evening one for you was like 4 in the morning for us, so we didn't bother with that one.
Except that one, but that's 2 out of 3.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
But yeah, that's the game as it is. It's promising. I mean, like when I first saw it at E3 last year, I thought it's just going to be like another Splatoon, but it's more like a melee combat Splatoon, where it's all cartoony and all fun.
It's definitely Splatoon inspired in terms of its aesthetic and some of the basic principles of it, of like how you pick a weapon and then that weapon has a sub weapon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's completely different. It doesn't play anything like Splatoon. It's not a shooter for a start.
Yeah.
And apparently Game Explained found a Splatoon Easter egg in the game.
Yeah,
so I refuse to believe
they
weren't even a little bit inspired by Splatoon.
Oh, they were definitely inspired by Splatoon, like outright. You could just every inch of it just screams Splatoon. I was almost worried it was just going to be like a really bad knockoff, you know. But it is its own thing when you actually play it.
You know, I did watch Game Explained play the game, and you know what it reminds me of? Anarchy Reigns. It really feels.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be that harsh. I did not like that game. I was really disappointed.
I was going to say that's not a knock against it. I was going to say it looks like the kind of game Anarchy Reigns wanted to be.
Yes, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
And even that background song, Beat Jungle, that sounds like a song that was in Anarchy Reigns, minus the profanities.
Yeah. So the premise of Ninjala, I must admit, when they first showed it off, I was very confused as to what it was supposed to be. It's like, they're ninja children. Well, they're adults that turn into ninja children, and they have giant club things or other weapons, depending on what you choose. You can get like giant hammers. You can get like a yo-yo basketball thing, stuff like that. So the aim of the game seems to be essentially you beat each other up, and there's also drones that you can beat up to get extra points, and that's kind of the gist of it. But I'm trying to think how to really explain it. The combat kind of feels like it's trying to be like you get into like little Dragon Ball Z fights where you just end up floating in the sky and you're sort of like dodging and blocking and trying to smack each other, basically smash yourself, kind of like Smash Brothers, smash the other opponent into like walls and stuff. It's quite mashy, I'll say. I think this game's gonna probably wreck people's Joy-Cons, especially if they've already got Joy-Con drift. It's probably gonna like just make that worse because there's a lot of like waggling of the stick when you like clash and all that kind of stuff. It can be it's a bit mashy, but it is quite fun.
Maybe use your third-party controllers for that.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, just a whole load of customization with your character, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I had a pink poo on my head.
Yeah,
I've seen some characters who turn into like a yellow mound of poop.
Yeah, that's
whatever
one
reason.
of the sub weapons. I think you do like some kind of like ninjutsu that just turns the opponent into like a yellow poo, and then you can just punch them around a bit while they can't move.
Yeah.
What else was there? Yeah, like Gagaman touched on earlier, the whole scoring system, where you could either just go for like all the other opponents, or you could go for drones, and yeah, at the end of the game, the person that's beaten out the most drones gets extra points, and the person that given out the most knockouts gets even more points on top of that. So
yeah, so
it is going to be very competitive.
yeah, so it's a case of trying to get a balance of how much you want to, because the drones are really easy to. When you first play the game, the best thing to do is to just run around and take out some of the drones, because that alone will get you quite high up on the ranks. Because I noticed because obviously it was the first time anyone's played this game, it was a beta, no one really knew what the mechanics were yet. But when I started, I was just running around hitting all the drones and just immediately going to first place because no one else was attacking them. They were just all beating each other up. And I think over time people started to realise that you do have to sort of balance between fighting each other and attacking the drones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's, even if you were supposed to focus on attacking each other, it would be a little too much of a cluster, if that happened. I think that's one of the main reasons why you're not supposed to do that in Splatoon as well.
Yeah.
Because the maps are short. This isn't like Unreal Tournament or something where you have big maps and usually more characters to fill out those maps. No,
the maps are quite small. I think the time limit is somewhere between 3 and 4 minutes each match in this game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the final release, because I know it's going to be like a free-to-play game when it comes out, I think in a few weeks' time, sometime later in May, I believe.
Sometime later this month. I forget what day exactly, but it is supposed to be within.
I think if they were like charging like full price like Splatoon 2 is for it, I don't know if I'd buy it straight away by any means, but the fact that it's going to be free to play is really going to help this game, and I think it might actually end up being quite popular because of that, because it's definitely got, it's like 90% of the way when it comes to like Splatoon's like style and presentation and all that kind of stuff. It's very close. It's not quite as good, but then, you know, it's not Nintendo, so I suppose you can't really expect it to be as slick as one of their premier games. But it's good for what it is, you know. And for a free-to-play game, it's definitely going to be enjoyable, I'd say.
It's going to be another thing to justify that online pass, basically.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'd say so.
It's important to remember that for free-to-play games on Nintendo Switch, this also includes stuff like Fortnite and Paladins and Onigiri. You don't actually need a paid Nintendo Switch Online.
That's true, you're right. Yeah, it doesn't actually. Yeah, it's one of the free-to-play games that doesn't actually even require the online.
The only platform where you need to pay in order to play free-to-play online games is PlayStation 4.
Ah, right. Okay.
Not true. Tetris 99, that's free to start. But you need to be online.
Yeah. Tetris 99. That's the one exception to this rule. Is Tetris 99.
I mean, but that's Nintendo, and they made that to sell the online. They literally sell a cartridge with 12 months of online with it, so that's why.
That's true. That is also a premium retail game, but it didn't start out as one.
No, of course not.
No, it was a marketing strategy basically initially.
Yeah,
and they got it.
Yep, they definitely got me. My Switch is almost exclusively a Tetris 99 and Asphalt 9 machine now. Well, it has been for the last year. And I can see, I can definitely see Ninjala becoming one of those games that I'll probably just pop into, especially if they're going to do a load of incentives to keep playing it, like daily stuff. I can see myself coming back to it time and time again.
I really hope I like that game, because I'm a huge Splatoon fan.
I think if you like Splatoon, it's different enough where it doesn't just feel like it definitely doesn't play like Splatoon, but it's got the stylings of it, like the good aesthetic of it. But I reckon Yeah, I just feel like the only thing that might be a detriment to it is the fact that the combat is a little bit mashy. I think there's probably more depth to it than was apparent in the beta, but it does feel like you're just kind of just mashing one of the buttons and then occasionally wiggling the stick.
It might grow over time.
Yeah, I think there'll be more to it.
I imagine when the game fully releases, there's going to be more modes to switch things up. Even
there definitely
Fortnite
is. They said it's
has extra modes.
They did say it's going to even have some kind of season pass, and there's going to be some single player like story campaign that's going to be available to buy, and a load of other stuff. So they're definitely going to pump it full of like new modes and stuff by the sounds of it. One thing that's also been found with the beta is there was actually people data mined the beta code, and they found a bunch of cosmetics that were going to be available to buy, and it included Sonic, Tails and Knuckles masks.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they're going to put Sonic stuff in it apparently.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be odd. I was thinking that one of the weapons you can pick is just like a giant hammer, so it would make perfect sense for them to do like a Amy Rose costume for one of the like girl characters, and you could just run around as Amy and just smack things.
Especially if it squeaks when you hit things.
Yeah, I can see that working. But that's interesting that it already sounds like there's companies like Sega getting involved like with cosmetics and stuff, so could be interesting.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yep, so that's my games.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
We spoke about Streets of Rage. If I just do the rest of my games quickly, then
that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So play Streets of Rage. Go out and buy it. I've been playing.
I did buy it. I've paid money for it. I just can't watch it. I can't play it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
buy it and then you play it. You can't play it and then buy it unless you go to a friend's house. But you can't do that right now.
No,
it's not true.
But I've been because we had a sale on some of those Neo Geo games. I got Samurai Shodown, and I've been going through the Samurai Shodown games slowly.
Nice.
Bloody hard.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I've played them before, but not like from the start. I played from like 4 onwards.
So
like 4 and 5.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've gone back to the start, and they're interesting because the damage is so high on the hits.
That's kind of that game's shtick in a way.
Yeah, it's like you don't miss basically.
Yeah.
Don't whiff an attack or you're basically dead.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Samurai Shodown. I almost said Streets of Rage. I got Streets of Rage on my brain, man.
Because I played a lot of like Last Blade and stuff, and I love that game.
I love Last Blade as well.
It's a beautiful game.
The second one on the Dreamcast, I absolutely adore that game.
Yeah, some of the best backgrounds I've ever seen.
Hell yeah!
But Samurai Shodown's no slouch. I mean, this came out like 1 year after Street Fighter 2.
Yes. It came out
it's a very good looking game.
It's actually a really early Neo Geo game. Yeah, it's one of the kind of
93 or something.
And it sure looks like an early Neo Geo game. Not that those games were bad, but it's quite simplistic looking compared to say Samurai Shodown 5 or Garo Market.
But at the same time, it still looks bloody good for its.
I'd say compared to the competition, visually, probably better than anything on the market.
Oh yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
For 1993, I mean, you had Final Fight, which was, I mean, it's a good-looking game, certainly for its time, big sprites now, but it did not animate as well as Samurai Shodown did. I know it's a different scope in that game, but it's really hard. Like I say, it's a game that the enemy is really good at blocking in that game. It's really hard to get an attack in, and I think you're supposed to punish them. And I've been enjoying that. I'm on the second one now, and it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah. But other than that, today I got my Neo PC Engine Mini.
Oh, nice! Got it imported it from Japan, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. I pre-ordered it from in Europe because of the thing. We weren't able to get them.
Yeah.
And I was going to wait, but I thought, well, this could take however long, and they might even just cancel it one day and decide that they're not going to do it. So I wasn't going to take the chance. So I just went on Amazon Japan, and you can order it just like you would on any other Amazon account, and you just pay it up front. It was £111 as opposed to £99, so it wasn't even a great big difference.
Nope.
Was that including
And
shipping as well?
That's including shipping, and it
Oh,
only
not
took a
bad.
few days. And I don't because it was a new Japanese account. It's not like I had Prime or anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
They just-
yeah. I'm considering doing that myself.
if you're gonna buy the TurboGrafx, just buy it from Japan because it's the same unit. My
Yeah.
one is a
Yeah.
PAL copy.
Of course.
It's got
It's even got the PEGI rating on it.
it's
hasn't
even
it?
got the PEGI rating on the box. It's all in English on the back. It's the same unit.
Hmm.
You
That's
know,
true. That's true. Only thing is, last time I checked, the TurboGrafx 16 Mini
isn't available.
on Amazon. Yeah, it's it's
I mean,
currently unavailable from Amazon Japan. I'm
Yeah,
sure
you-
it'll come back eventually, but
You could buy a core graphics because it'll have the same games, but it depends if you've got a nostalgic value for that TurboGrafx
yeah,
case.
yeah. I kind of have more nostalgic connection to the TurboGrafx 16 model.
Yeah, so in which case you may hopefully not be out of luck. Hopefully they'll get some more in.
I mean, I
but-
can't help but feel silly when I say that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
that's
can
fair.
understand
You
that.
actually had the console in your country, so
Yeah,
we didn't.
you could
I
get
mean, they
them,
did
yeah.
technically sell them here,
True,
but in
yeah.
such small
So-
numbers and for such a short
so
time. I don't
late
think-
and so limited.
Literally,
number.
no
I
one
still-
remembers it.
No,
I still don't know what the situation with that system was in Europe.
It kind of
Um,
came and went in like France, I think. And
France
maybe
and
some
Italy
other-
got it a
that's
lot
it.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even they had it in limited numbers. But yeah, it came to Europe technically, and you could play it in this country technically,
Mm.
but in even smaller. America's TurboGrafx didn't even do that great, you know.
Mm.
But ours was like basically like a hidden
Almost
machine,
non-existent.
Yeah,
I mean,
know
I
when
definitely
it
didn't hear
came
about
out-
it as a kid.
I know when it came out here, it was only available for sale in a select couple of states, and I don't even
Ah.
know. I don't even know how it went on sale in Canada or Mexico,
Hmm.
but I know that my state probably wasn't one of those states because I never heard of the thing
Hmm.
until I went to one of my uncle's house and I saw he had a TurboGrafx.
yeah.
Huh.
It's one of those things where I think owners of the TurboGrafx probably had a very special childhood that not many people can
Relate to?
relate to. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
especially
I mean,
if you
I
lived in
didn't-
Japan.
I
Yeah.
didn't own a TurboGrafx, but I got to play my uncle's whenever I visited him.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is done by M2, and you can tell because it feels like the OS for the menus is very similar to the Mega Drive Mini.
Ah, cool.
So it's
It's
like,
like-
it's
Yeah,
Sorry?
it's like the best of the Mega Drive Mini and Nintendo's mini consoles combined.
yeah. I mean, I would say this is the best Mini so far.
That's good to hear.
I've had limited use with it, and a lot of me saying that is in a practical sense because there's not really many ways to play PC Engine games legit.
No,
Yeah.
I mean there was Wii Virtual Console, but
guess.
outside of
Yeah.
that, not
Yeah,
a
other
lot.
than that, whereas like Sega for the Mega Drive Mini, I love the
Yeah.
Mega Drive Mini, but it's like
And
yeah,
then-
how many ways to play
and then
Mega
the-
Drive games are there?
Yeah, it's
And
about
then the games are
4,000.
also the games are also on the Wii U eShop, but for whatever reason, Konami didn't actually put them there until the Switch came out. Was already.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of good games on here. There's a lot of shmups. So if you like shmups, you're
That's-
golden. If you
Yeah,
don't,
that's the
I would
PC Engine in a nutshell, isn't it?
in and out. Yeah, exactly. But if you're the sort of person who gets enjoyment from playing like China Warrior, you're going to be set up. You know.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I do like it in that it's terrible kind of way.
yeah.
But there's a lot of good games. Legitimately, like I say, you've got East 1 and 2 on there. You've got both
Mhm.
Utopia games, Military Madness if you want some really like old school Advance Wars style action.
Mhm.
There's Rondo of Blood. I know you can get that on PS4 now, but for like it's a great way to play Rondo of Blood if you don't have a PS4.
Sweet.
I mean, that would feel amazing, practically playing it on the proper hardware.
Oh yeah, the controller feels great. And like I say, it's M2. They've done a good job. I think the scanline filter's all right. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Yeah, and M2 have put a few secrets in there. I think people might already know about them.
Yeah, there's a few secret games that you can
A
get.
few secret
They got
games.
I found out recently that there's also a secret version of Dragon Spirit on there.
Is there?
That most people don't know about.
Oh.
I did not
Yeah,
know that.
Ah.
Yeah, there's a. It's like the extra versions of stuff like Salamander and Fantasy Zone.
So it's
where
like more arcadey version, yeah.
Yeah, it's more arcadey, and yeah, there's a mode just like that for Dragon Spirit, and
Beautiful.
it also has the the Tate screen mode.
Oh,
Because-
nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
because the arcade version of Dragon Spirit had that kind of screen.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So in the PC Engine
So I
Mini,
figure you may as well try that with every
Game.
Hue card game on that system that's an arcade port.
yeah,
Maybe
I
they
mean,
do with Space Harrier. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so far you can get up more. I mean, the PC Engine versions are pretty arcade perfect already, but they go even further. M2 have gone, so like you can put in a special code to play Gradius, Salamander, Fantasy Zone, and maybe more in a more arcade perfect form.
That's such an
you also-
M2 thing to do, isn't it? It's like, we're not just going to port
I
these games
know, I
over.
know.
We're not going to just emulate these games. We're also going to go into the code and we're going to try and make them closer to the arcade games.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
Why not?
I mean,
and just put them
this
as a
thing-
hidden extra.
This thing doesn't have any unreleased games like the Super Nintendo. and Genesis
sort of
minis did,
does.
so
It sort of does.
All right.
It has one hidden game that is not technically an unreleased game, but it is one that was only released for tournaments.
Oh
really?
yes, I forgot about this one. That,
Yes, Soldier Blade, I
the-
think it is, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it like
yeah,
the tournament
Soldier
version
Blade.
of it?
Yeah.
Soldier Blade
nice.
Caravan mode.
Yeah, so
That was
it's not-
only that was used for a contest in Japan, I think.
Yes, it's like 2 minutes to score as many points as you can, which is like it's a nice little novelty, you know. So there's that.
I was gonna say that because there were no unreleased games on this thing, M2 had to make up for that somehow with those extra
Secret.
arcade ports.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cool stuff anyway. Like it worried people because when the PC Engine Mini came out, people were finding the codes, and one of the codes was highlighting Tokameki Memorial, which obviously didn't come to our systems. But they just moved it over a bit to other games. So if you go to the right game, you can get and put the code in, you can get Twinbee,
Nice.
which is nice, and you can get Force Gear. And there's another little secret: if you play Ninja Gaiden, you can press select, or it might be run and A and B at the same time, and you can turn it into English.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you can.
But I think that's something that was in the original version.
It
of the
might
game,
have
too.
been, yeah. It's Chinese, Japanese, and English. So not that there's a lot. I mean, there is dialogue in the game, but not that you need to know English to play Ninja Gaiden. But it's cool.
One thing I want to know about it is because it's got Rondo and Blood on it. Has it got that weird version of Castlevania with like the weird stick
Yes.
man thing?
Yes, it does.
It has.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it does.
The
have-
one where
They
you put
really put
the wrong Who card in it.
Yes,
That's
it.
You can do that.
Oh, fantastic!
You know-
I really
you know
want one.
Yeah, you
They
can
put
do
that on
that
the
with
PS
every. You
Did
can
you
do
know they-
that with every CD game on the system.
Was
Did you know they put that in the PSP version? You know the
Did they?
They
yeah,
did,
you
yeah.
know the Jack X Chronicles. They actually put that on there,
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
which
I'm
I
glad
thought
they
was
put it
really
on the
nice.
mini as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you remember you can find like you play the basically the proper remake mode of Rondo of Blood, don't you?
Mhm.
And you can find 3 hidden games. You can find the original version of Rondo. You can find Symphony of the Night, which was a nice version. That's basically the one they put on the
Blimey.
PS4.
They just put that as an extra.
yeah. And that's the
Bloody hell.
version that's on the PS4, basically.
And it's not even
Yeah.
just a port.
Yeah,
It's not
I know.
They've actually added extra stuff, like an extra character and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
not.
that's exactly the one that they re-released last year. You remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put that very obscure, weird. Well, I don't even know what you call it, but that was another one as well.
Yeah.
You have to sort of find these games hidden in the levels of Jacker X Chronicles.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only complaint I have with this is I've spent it's £100, which is fine, but you only get one controller, which feels kind of antithetical for a system that has so many multiplayer games.
Yeah,
like
especially stuff like
Bomberman. There's like 3 versions of Bomberman.
You
on
can.
there.
Is there
Yeah,
some
even
way
the-
to connect
even
more
the
than
play-
2 controllers?
Even the
to it?
PlayStation, even the PlayStation Classic had 2 controllers packaged.
What was
with
that?
it.
Sorry, is there a way to collect more than 2? There is a multi-tab coming out.
Oh, okay. Was I guess the reason it's a silly reason, but I think the reason they only put 1 controller with it is because the PC Engine only had 1 controller port, and you had to buy a
No,
multi-tab just to
I don't
play
know.
2-player games.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It would be better if it weren't so awkward to get them, because at the moment you can only buy PC Engine controllers. You can't buy Turbo Graphics or anything like controllers. So you are going to have if the wrong color for your player 2, and if that bothers you, that's going to be a pain in the ass. And maybe they'll release them down the line. Yeah. But there is a multi-tap and things like that, so you can play in Bomberman 94 with a lot of people. So yeah, it's cool. I'm really liking it so far, and Star Parodia is really fun. I wish that there are a few games that there are some games I do think are weird that they put on there. And they probably just left them on there just because Snatcher, it's all in Japanese. There's no way you can play it. I
mean, you could go on GameFAQs, print out 100-page strategy guide, and sit there with
or play it side by side with the Sega CD version to make sure you just see. That's the only thing you can do, because they get rid of Tokimeki Memorial presumably because of the amount of Japanese in it, but they leave Snatcher in. And I'd rather have it been replaced with another game that I can play.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
it would have been nice if they could have localized it, but I guess that would have been too much work.
Yeah,
I guess. But in my case, I'm already teaching myself Japanese anyway, so I'm using some of the games on the system, like Snatcher, as a personal goal for myself.
Well,
when I'm familiar enough with the language, I'll try to power my way through them and translate.
Well, a lot of the games also have English and Japanese versions of them, so you could use them as a reference.
That's true. That's true. But for stuff like Snatcher, where there is no English, or even like just Seiken Necromancer, or even just Spriggan Mark II, because there's a lot of spoken dialogue in that game as well.
Yeah, so
even though that's a shooter, so knowledge of the language isn't as critical for that game as it is with Necromancer or Snatcher.
Well, I've been playing a bit of Valkyrie no Densetsu, and that's
another one.
Yeah, you don't need to know Japanese, but it helps because it's a little bit like Pocky and Rocky, where you can talk to NPCs in shops and they'll give you stuff.
Oh yeah,
that one I'm probably gonna play first because I imagine that game was made for kids and it's
not easy.
Maybe not, but it has more of a family-friendly nature to it, so it's probably a lot less reliant on kanji.
Well, I'll take a picture later and see how much kanji seems to be in it. But
I guess.
But no, it's great. I mean, I recommend anyone who has a passing interest in minis should own this one above all others.
This is the one I want to get. I haven't bought any of them prior because I already own the consoles, and I just think, it's a nice novelty, but in the case of the PC Engine, I've never owned one. It's got most of the games I could possibly want on it. It's almost the entire library of its best games are on there. Almost. It's got Parasol Stars. That's all I need. It's got the best game on it.
You know what? One of the games on that thing, Ginga Fuke Densetsu Sapphire. That game alone
is expensive.
Usually goes for over 1,000 big ones.
Yep. It's huge. It's because it was actually a game that had 3D rendering in it back then. So it's a very high-tech looking game for a shmup.
They did the same thing that was done with Donkey Kong Country and Vector Man for the most part.
Wow.
Yeah.
For what's technically an 8-bit console.
And it has Cho Anarchy on it, so know. But it's the other minis have been great, and I do like them. But there's a lot of it, especially with the Mega Drive Mini, where it's why am I buying this? Because I want to own one more than actually being practical.
Yeah, it's a novelty, isn't it? And
the Super Nintendo Mini was a bit more practical because, say, you had Earthbound on there and Final Fantasy 3, and they're all games that were rather expensive to own. Mario RPG.
Yeah. I feel like the Mega Drive Mini did that as well, especially if you bought the Japanese Mega Drive Mini. It had Snow Bros, it had Tetris, or a better version of Tetris.
Wily Wars.
Wily Wars as well, had all those really expensive games on there, so that's another good reason to
Not to mention most of the PAL games on that thing were converted to run in 60 hertz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, the good thing about this is there's a good chance that you haven't played most of the games on this, and a lot of them are good. So it's a great way to play some fill in the gaps in your game knowledge if you haven't played them. And I say there's a lot of games in Japanese, but a lot of them you just don't need to know. You understand Japanese to play, so it's fine.
That's true. That's true.
And even so, it's worth it for Military Madness, East 1 and 2. Newtopia and all that just alone. Rondo of Blood, really. So get
Yeah,
it.
definitely
I think-
considering one of these at some point.
Yeah, if you get it from Japan, I had no pains doing that. So
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I remember Newtopia was one of the games that my uncle owned,
Oh, nice.
and I didn't go through too much of that game, even though I liked it. But that's mainly because of the nature of it being an RPG.
it was basically TurboGrafx' Golden Axe Warrior, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So it was like
I'm
we're
surprised
totally
you
not
said-
Zelda game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm surprised you said that instead of Zelda.
Yeah, I only said that because I was like, it was ripping on Zelda. But yeah,
I guess, yeah.
But no, that's basically what I've been playing as far as I know, or as far as I can remember. So yeah,
Nice.
who's next?
Cool.
I can go next. So I've been playing. I went back to playing Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Cool.
Now I've already beaten the story of the game, but I have some unfinished business. I still want to finish the Club Foreshine and the Majima construction stories.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only game in the entire series, Yakuza series, that I've actually managed to 100% because those games are huge.
What, Kiwami 2?
Yeah, it's the only one I managed to not only platinum, but just I went to town on that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, I did that with Zero, but I hadn't really bothered to do that with any of the others. But I think that's mainly because there was, after Yakuza 0 came out, there were new Yakuza games coming out in short succession. And plus, after I beat 0, I wanted to go back to all the other games, so I played 1 and 2 on the PlayStation. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. After Yakuza 0, someone also got official reprints going for Yakuza's 1 through 4.
Oh.
So, yeah, someone actually managed to arrange for actual reprints, official reprints
I think I remember
of
those. Yeah.
PlayStation
coming out.
2 and PlayStation 3 games.
Nice.
That
So
was
I-
Curse of
but,
Darkness ones.
Yeah, so when that happened, I bought all the Yakuza games that I was missing, and then I played through all of those. And then, of course, Yakuza Kiwami came out in the middle of all that. I had to beat that, and then I beat Yakuza 5, and I managed to do all of this before Yakuza 6 came out.
I'm surprised you guys don't have
wall-to-wall.
Burnout.
Wow.
It was just
you know
wall-
what? I might be getting
Wall-to-wall Yakuza.
The thing is though, they really are such good games. It's hard for me to get sick of them. They're just so good, and
They are.
because by their nature they're very diverse in what's going on anyway. So, yeah,
It's
the
a lot
fact
of
that
variety, yeah.
yeah, I mean, not only is the core gameplay just really, really addictive. It's it's just classic beat 'em up style. It was like I always used to say.
It kind of feels like the combat anyway. If Streets of Rage 4
Yes, that's what I was
actually
just about
managed
to
to be
say.
made, if
Fighting
if
Force
Sega was
perfected.
That's the thing.
if Sega was actually
If-
able to make
If
Streets
Elk
of
lets
Rage
anyone
4
else get a
on,
word in.
Saturn or Dreamcast, it might have played something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, that was honestly what I was
Or
just
maybe
about
like-
to say.
Or maybe like the Spike Out games. I don't know. You know, if I could talk about that for a minute, it's kind of funny that
If I could just butt into myself with myself.
it's kind of funny that Sega diverged from Streets of Rage for who knows what reason, and then suddenly made Spike Out, a game that, as far as I know, I wouldn't because I've never played it, but it's not that far removed from Streets of Rage. But anyway, back to Yakuza. Yakuza Kiwami 2 has this side story, Club Foreshine. It's where Kiryu manages a cabaret club in the game.
So
And
addictive.
and the reason I wanted to go back to this is because this is a continuation of the Club Sunshine story from Yakuza 0. Where Majima had to manage a cabaret club.
That's right.
So basically, in Yakuza 0, Majima wound up becoming the manager of this floundering cabaret club, and when you go through the story, you help them beat the other top clubs in the Sotenbori area.
Yeah. And in
You,
typical Yakuza style, it does it in, like as an anime.
Right. So like you recruit a lot of hostesses to work in the club, and you play a mini game that that manages the club as it's open. So you have to help manage all the girls as they're keeping all the clients busy.
It's like a game in
So,
itself.
right, and there's a lot of there's a lot of character arcs in that game for both Majima as well as the people working in that cabaret club. And they even call back to this in Yakuza Kiwami, even though you're not managing any cabaret clubs in that game. But then when you get to Yakuza Kiwami 2, this is about almost 20 years after the events of Yakuza 0. So in this game, Kiryu, he comes across Club Forshine, another cabaret club, which is being run by the top hostess of Club Sunshine from Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
So, right, her name is Yuki, by the way. And yeah, this
By
is
the way, I'm Yuki. By the way,
yeah, I have to mention her. I have to mention her name, or no one's going to know who I'm talking about when I say this. So,
all right.
yeah, so this is essentially a continuation of Yuki's character arc, and you do encounter a few more characters from Club Sunshine and 0, and Majima gets himself involved in it as well eventually.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to get through this, because I wanted closure for the whole thing.
Yeah. The Majima construction stuff is it's really fun, and it's once again a really involved minigame, isn't it? But
yeah, that too.
But my God, does it get tedious?
It does. It's also a little confusing. It took a very long time for me to, even though they do explain it to you when you start out, it took me forever to actually figure out what the hell I was doing in that game and what I'm supposed to do.
Basically, what it is, it's a real-time strategy. You've got to defend bases and send out units. Like, it's really hard. And I had trouble with the last few. Like, the actual story-related ones to do with that, they were all right. But the extra ones, like the sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, really, like side quests of it, they got so hard, so unbelievably hard. And then they kept releasing like sort of not really DLC, but they did do online events, didn't they, as well? Like, I think they still do that.
So.
Yeah. They just kept going.
Although there's also, I believe there's some DLC characters that you can get for the Majima construction game. I keep forgetting about it, of course, and I haven't really bought any. I'm not sure I'd actually be interested enough to buy them.
Nah, I didn't bother
because the game already has tons of characters for you to use in that game, and you get more and more as you go through different side quests.
You really don't need to buy any more, no matter how good they are. Like, the game gives you plenty.
Yes, and it gives you a lot of really important characters that I'm sure you'd really want to prioritize for your team.
Yeah.
I think most of the DLC characters are people who appear in games that are supposed to occur canonically after Kiwami 2.
Yeah.
So I don't really care too much for having them on my team, as cool as that might be. You start out with Majima, and I always like to have Majima on my team.
Oh, he's useful throughout. Yeah.
So other than Yakuza Kiwami 2, what else have you been playing?
Yes, well, I've been playing. I haven't talked about this since the first time I was on the Lucky Hit podcast. I've been, but this entire time I've been continuing through Rhythm Thief.
Oh yes.
And the Emperor's Treasure.
Oh yeah, you did bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been going through a lot more of that game, and I'm really, really getting a lot more into the story from that game. I wasn't too into it at first, but it's really started to grab me as I went on.
Oh, cool.
The rhythm games are a lot of fun. They're actually really clever. I mentioned before I'm really good at rhythm games. This game has so many tricks that really gave me a lot of trouble. There's a lot of games where the music is made in such a way that it cleverly messes with the tempo at certain points just to try and throw you off. And they have like visual tricks too. So like one of them you kick a soccer ball back and forth with another character who tries to fight you by kicking a soccer ball at you. It's kind of weird. But
sounds like something out of Riven Heaven.
You know, every time I try to say the name of this game, I keep nearly saying Rhythm Heaven by accident.
I don't blame you.
But during one of these soccer battles, there comes a point where the camera shifts over and a bunch of pigeons fly by, making it harder for you to see the soccer ball. And the music actually quiets down, so you can't rely on the visuals to help you anymore at this point. As long as those pigeons are there, you have to really pay attention to the music.
Yeah.
Also, there's one thing I really wanted to mention. There's actually a Samba de Amigo rhythm minigame in this too.
There is, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, at some point you
fan
encounter a guy with maracas and a sombrero who talks about how in his country he dances with monkeys and stuff, just like Samba de Amigo. And he sets you up with a secret rhythm game which recreates Samba de Amigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to press the action buttons and the D-pad in order to match the notes with the rings. And then when you're supposed to pose, you have to move the 3DS in whatever direction it tells you to move it in.
Huh.
Yeah, and then the first time I did it, I was so shocked. And they even play like Vamos a Carnival, I think the song is.
That's the one song they usually pedal out whenever they do anything revolving around Samba de Amigo in Sega games.
Yeah.
I think it's the only one they've got the rights to now.
It's the one they remixed for Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed too.
Yeah, exactly. They use it everywhere. Whenever the monkey shows up, that song is not far behind.
Yes, it is. And then the second time when I did the second Samba de Amigo song, it's a different song, which at first I didn't recognize. I didn't know what the heck it was. So and that one was really hard, so I had to play through it several times before I could pass it. And I was just thinking, what is this? And because before the song starts, Raphael, that's the main character, he says, "Everybody rub it," and then I listened to it more and more again, and then it dawned on me. This is a song from one of the Rub Rabbits games on the DS.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you guys remember these games? Because I've
got both of them
by this point.
I haven't played loads of them, but I have got both of those.
Yeah, I've never.
They're weird.
Either
They're
of those
very
games.
weird. They're very odd.
I've never played either of them yet, so I don't know any of.
Once you're done with Rhythm Thief, definitely try and pick up some copies of them because I think they're quite cheap to get now, and they're quite fun. They're very bizarre. They're very bizarre.
I might have to do that.
It's just like a minigame collection, but it's like WarioWare levels of just odd.
I know. I've seen as much in Lonely Goomba's review of the first game.
Huh.
And then the last game I want to talk about is just a another random retro game that I played.
Oh, yeah.
I played Ranma Half Hard Battle on Super Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah. I know.
I remember that.
Yeah, because I had the game for a while, actually. And then just last year, I started watching the Ranma Half anime on Hulu, which I really enjoy, by the way.
Didn't that have an official English release in PAL regions?
I don't know about PAL regions, but...
It did, yeah. There was I don't know which one specifically, but there was a Ranma Half game released in the UK for the SNES, yeah.
Yeah, and then this game, Ranma Half Hard Battle, this one had an official North American release. It wasn't the first one, no. There was an earlier Ranma Half game that had all of its content completely changed, and it was
yes.
released here as Street Combat.
Oh yes, that's
and it's infamous.
That's a thing.
And it's infamously known as one of the worst fighting games on the Super Nintendo. Can't imagine the original Ranma version of the game is that much better.
Well, I've heard that one of the Ranma fighting games is really good, so it can't be that one.
The good Ranma.
Maybe. It's probably not Ranma Hard Battle, though.
It's probably... yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as good as that Yu Yu Hakusho game, but...
I like this Ranma game. I think it's interesting. It's certainly not a good fighting game, though. I can't, in good conscience, call it that. This is most certainly one of those games where it was made to appeal less to like fighting game connoisseurs and more to people who are fans of the source material, which is me. Even though I'm also a fighting game connoisseur.
A bit like those Gundam games they made.
Yeah, and it's also just really strange to me that this game came out in North America with all of its Ranma content completely intact, because I'm pretty sure the Ranma manga was not officially released in North America until the Super Nintendo was already retired. So at that point, you kind of have to wonder who they were marketing this game to. I mean, I'm glad that.
Same with the UK release. I was always surprised by that.
Apparently, it's just called Ranma Half here.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
the really weird box art.
Maybe the anime and manga was officially available in Europe by that time. I don't know.
Oh, it was Hard Battle that came out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was in like France or something. And maybe that's why we got the game.
Only 6 days after America got it as well.
Oh.
Wow.
That's quite rare for back then.
That's very rare for back then. It used to be like 2 years.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to wait a week.
Nope.
Blimey.
But with that being said, I guess I'll just give a brief synopsis of the anime for anyone who doesn't know
you
what
don't
I'm
have
talking
to.
about.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's fine.
All right. If you
People
say
can
so.
Google it.
Look it up on Wikipedia or something. But anyway, that's all the games I want to talk about. I'm done here.
Bloke falls in water that turns him into a girl occasionally. The end. Also, there's a panda. That's all you need.
And it goes on forever.
Yeah. There's like 6,000 episodes, 20 movies.
Not nearly as much as Dragon Ball, but yeah, long
enough. I don't know.
To run.
It went on for a while.
It was definitely enough for the anime to run for 3 years.
Blimey.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bigger than Dragon Ball.
Oh, well,
143 episode.
Pretty sure Inuyasha, which is made by the same creator, is a much bigger anime.
Yeah, that went on forever as well.
To the point they had to cancel it and do it later.
Yeah.
Oh man, everyone on Do It Hard had a Inuyasha avatar, didn't they?
That's because it was on Toonami in America, so it
Yeah,
really
it
took
was a
off
big deal
over.
for a
I think
time.
it might have arguably been
That's
bigger in America than it was in Japan, just because it was
That's how
probably.
right
That's
place at
how
the
I
right
saw
time, I suppose.
Inuyasha.
Yeah,
We didn't get it, because screw us in the 90s for anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
On the plus side, we didn't get Inuyasha.
That's true. That is true, yeah.
It is a plus. Okay.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Or in this case, a Shikon jewel.
Yes.
I had to do it to you.
What
So
have
are
you
we
been
going to
playing?
talk
What-
about the games the rest of you played, or what?
Yeah, go on then. Yakuza.
Yes.
I'm still going through 5. I think I've hit about 100 odd hours now. I finally got to the finale chapter, but knowing every other chapter in this game, that's going to be a very long chapter.
Ooh.
I just finished Shinada, who's the 5th playable character in that game, and he's a brand new character to the series, and I wasn't sure how to take him. He's all right. I wouldn't say he's outstanding, but as a Yakuza main character, but he was all right. He was kind of fun. His story evolved around him being a disgraced ex-baseball player. You spent quite a bit of time playing the batting cage.
I was about to say it's an excuse to put the batting game in there, really, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. It's in every single game anyway. So what they've done is they've actually found a way of improving it and making it a lot more fun this time because you level up his various stats.
Cool.
So
Of course, every other character besides Haruka can play the batting cages game as well, but it's different. It works differently for Shinada.
Yeah, he's got a significant advantage. He's like a batting prodigy. But he's got like really sharp eyes, and he was like basically almost world renowned, but he got disgraced like right before he made his major debut. And obviously, I won't go into why that is because it's heavily involved in the plot of 5 anyway. But yeah, his story was really fun. But there were a couple of things about it that made it go on all week. Because I think I mentioned last week that I was just starting the Shinada story.
You did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, I played it quite a bit, and yeah, his chapter was fun when I got to the actual story bit of it. The baseball stuff was actually quite quick to get through, to slog through. But there was a couple of his like mini games and things like that just really dragged on and got on my nerves. Anyone who's played Yakuza 5 would know what I mean when I say chicken racing. You have to raise these chickens, you have to feed them and breed them, and it goes on and on and on. It's like bloody chow racing.
I didn't spend much time with that game only because I never actually found it until I was nearly done with Shinada's story.
Well, that's the thing. I kind of left most of it, but without going on and on and on about it, basically, it's just like a sort of, again, I used the chow analogy, but it's nowhere near as in depth as the chow. But it just takes so long. I spent about 5 hours on it just to try and get it done.
Wow.
And that's just one of the small mini games among hundreds that 5 has.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was a grind. I did eventually get it done, and then also every character has a trainer that teaches them like techniques. And even Shinada's trainer is a pain in the ass. He's like this nobleman, like dressed like some ancient. What's the word?
He's dressed like some feudal Japanese prince or something,
like a lord,
and he acts like one too.
And he acts like a total belly. But the thing is, every time you go to train him,
he's trying to. Basically, he's really trying to get a girlfriend. He's like one of those types. He's like one of those milady types that take fedora and wonder why ladies aren't attracted to him. Except not nearly as creepy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you have to train with him a total of 6 times if you want to get all the moves, and obviously, my obsession is the 100% completion. So, but each time you have to go through a load of rigmarole just to be able to get the training session. Like, you have to start basically coaching him how to get the girlfriend, and it takes ages. And then, like, even when you do the training, he has a long-winded discussion with you. So that's what I spent about 5-6 hours doing over the last couple of days, just trying to do the training, eat at all the restaurants, and also do all of the chicken stuff. And I finally got to the final chapter last night, and I'm basically just itching to go after the podcast to try and get started on Kamurocho, which is obviously the big, the major map of every game, basically. So the story of 5 is really, really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's all going to close. So hopefully next week, I don't think I'll finish it because Kamurocho is a big place and there's a lot going on in 5. I don't think I'll be finished. I think I'll still be slugging away next week, but yeah, I think I might have a lot more to say. But yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed Shinada, but yeah, there's certain things that weren't necessarily about his character arc or about how fun his gameplay was. It was just some of the side stuff. So if you're not, the kind of guy who obsesses over completion and actually enjoys his games, you might actually have a lot of fun. So other than that, I still haven't gotten on with Resident Evil 3 because of Yakuza. I'm still ploughing away on ESO, but there's nothing more to say about that. Then I'm just logging in, doing my dailies, and trying to buy all the houses in Tembriel. But I did have a quick go at the Phantasia 7 remake. I've done a few chapters now.
Oh, nice.
I've got to say, there's a lot more I like about it than I dislike, and the things I dislike are not really that bad anyway.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying the best thing I like about it is there's been a lot of work into making the world feel more alive. Like,
Yes.
it's so like there's so much detail. There's loads of like just people milling about. I mean, the people are everywhere, even in the little slum towns. They're everywhere.
It feels like an actual
Really,
slum now.
It really does, doesn't it? And not only that, but they're not just like sort of walking around aimlessly with bad animation. They're actually like, proper. They're doing stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you stand there, you'll see they're just doing the same thing over and over again. But there's lots of voice acting going on when you're walking along that you don't have to actually stop and listen to. You can actually just sort of have it happen in the background. Like there's lots of shops, lots of hustle and bustle, and the world just first, not only is it enormous now, but it just feels really good to be in.
Yeah, I mean, people were saying when Final Fantasy came out that they made Cloud have less personality, and I just think that they're completely off the mark. Like,
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think if you replay Final Fantasy VII, you realise, and not to say that Cloud wasn't a well-developed character in the original game, but it was like, I feel like they've kind of expanded on that in this game, and I think characterization is not something I have a problem with in the Final Fantasy VII remake. So I think, I
totally agree. Yeah, I think they did a better job of slowly making him come out of his shell. At the start of 7, he was just like one-word responses to everything.
Yeah,
I'm really hard sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They did that, but the remake they did this sort of thing where he, like after the first couple of missions, which have been greatly expanded upon, he actually sort of slowly came out of his shell.
Becomes a little bit snarky and
he didn't just get out of Midgar and suddenly talk to people.
Exactly. It felt like as soon as he met Aeris, his personality changed in the original game. Yeah, I feel like it's more of a gradual process in this game, and that's a lot of that to do with the expanded story. So
I think that's probably the benefit of them doing this remake the way they're doing it, is they can just elaborate on stuff that was pretty rushed in the original. Some people will see it as padding, but it can also be a benefit as well.
Yeah, I mean,
as you say, for the character development in particular, it's probably really helping.
Yeah,
to
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's padding.
Yeah,
but it's I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'd rather them do that than just speed through Midgar like they did in the original game, because I don't think that they could have capped it off as well. And even that is a statement that maybe could be said to not be to capping it off well and being not what they did. But it depends on how you see it. I won't, like I say, I'm not going to talk about spoilers, but like I say, I think I like more about it than I disliked. So that's how I feel about it in general. It's like, I think a lot of people hate it because they feel like they have to, but I don't think that's entirely fair. I think it's a fine game. It just may not be exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I like that.
I've been saying that same thing for a while.
Yeah. So I like that scope of the environments. I don't really have a problem with the writing too much, and I don't think the voice acting is as bad as some reviews are saying. It's really atrocious. It's just it's good. It services. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the battle system. I'm actually not that good at it. I'm actually pretty.
I'm not that good at it.
I'm okay at it, but I got my first death, and I really felt sort of like bummed. Like it was that fight when you're in the tunnel and I can't remember exactly, but it was just before. It's while you're on the way to that second sector mission. The one where you're going to blow up the second reactor.
Yeah.
And there's like a bit where there's a couple of guards and like these 2 turrets that come out.
Oh, I know. That's where I got my first death.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one then. Yeah, because I wasn't quick enough to
take the turrets out.
Yeah, like using fire and stuff like that. I just got completely overwhelmed.
I got mowed down, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, I think that's just one of those things that bit, if you don't act quickly, it does you in.
Yeah, well, there we go. That makes me feel a lot better now. That's pretty much where I got to. Is I've done that boss.
Okay, yeah.
I'm walking off, at the start of that next sector, and I just had to stop because, like I say, I'm playing a lot of big stuff at the moment. So I hope to get on with it soon. But
don't want to get too sidetracked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just say one of the things I don't like about it. It's one of these things that Square just does all the time, which is it just has these really how do I put it, juvenile bits. And you might know the bit I'm talking about, where you're on the motorbike and this new character turns up. I mean, I'm sure maybe he's someone from Crisis Core or something. No, he's just new, is he?
He's just new. They just felt like adding him.
But do you know what I mean? When Square does this stuff, it just reminds me. It just reminds me that they make games primarily for teenagers.
Yes.
What happens is you're riding the bike. It's basically the bike mini game that's in 7, but you're doing it a lot earlier, and I assume you do it again later as well. Yeah, and they expanded on it, and it's a really good. Like, it's even more fun this time. I really enjoyed it. But this guy comes along on another bike, and he's doing like flips or like back flips on this bike and bouncing off walls. And he's all like "milady" and all this shit, and I'm just thinking, this is for teenagers, and it really does my head in.
Yeah.
So, me as even when I was a teenager, I wasn't like, my heart wasn't racing. I was jumping up and down on the edge of my seat. I was always head in my hands, thinking, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. There is a certain thing where it's like,
even when I was a teenager, I couldn't stand teenagers.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. But you know what I mean? There was no need for that. Like, the game was going just fine without that stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a few cringy bits, and that is that.
It's a Square game.
It's a Square game. Sometimes they escape it, but it's not when Nomura's behind it. Like, they might escape it when Sakaguchi's making the game or something, but when Nomura's behind it, you're gonna get some of that Kingdom Hearts seep into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well was, I know why they've done it, but I just don't think it. I think they should have just had a bit more integrity and not done it. But they did this thing where, obviously, because they only went up to Midgar, they felt the need to like crowbar Sephiroth in there, just because he's like, he's a bad guy. Everyone, look at him, look at his face. So he turns up like 5 minutes in, or maybe that's
really that quick.
He literally turns up and just,
basically as soon as the demo ends, he's in it.
And I'm just like, what's the point? Like, he didn't turn up until like right after you left Midgar, and you had like a flashback about him, and then that's when he was introduced.
I wish I could say that's the last of it, but it isn't. And
no, I'm willing to bet he's going to turn up all the time. But it's just why they've done that, because if they didn't, they'll get complaints from people.
No, it's a shame, because the whole point of Final 7 at the beginning is like Shinra's the main bad guy, and then you get this big whack in the side where you think, actually no, Shinra's small fries.
Exactly, and it just that one thing has ruined the pacing of the story.
Because now you know that there's something bigger than Shinra. It's just a stopgap, and I know most people know this, but just for the sake of the game itself, I feel like
what you got to remember is that me and you and all of us, we know that this game's been out for a long time. We know why they've done the things they've done, so maybe that's why we don't get quite as annoyed about it.
Yeah,
we can think, I mean, we've been doing YouTube for a long time. We can think contextually about this stuff. we can say, oh, well, they've done that. That's annoying, but they've done that because maybe marketing or something.
Because
if they didn't have Sephiroth appear in it once, you're probably going to get some, old school whiny fan going, "Oh, no, Sephiroth. Well, of course there wasn't it. He's not in it yet."
Where's the song? I want the song. Freebird.
Those are my two main gripes. The other one is they've really expanded on Jesse's character, but they've done it in a way where it's like she's really in your face and up your bum. It's just a bit much.
It is a bit like try hard. Like, I feel like I did want them expanded, don't get me wrong. Because they're characters that don't get a lot of screen time in the original game. But I feel like they because of that, they're like, okay, well, we're going to fire on all cylinders in the first 10 hours of this game.
So in the end, she just, like, she was always, in the original, she only had a few lines when she was a little flirty, basically. And now she's just like, she's all over you. And it just kind of gets a bit cringy after a while.
Yeah.
That might explain the influx of fan art I've seen of her.
Most likely, yeah. I
mean, you don't really need much fuel for that fire anyway.
No.
But so other than that, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I really like how everything has been expanded, and it feels like it should have been expanded. But the original game could only be so big. And there is padding, like you say. There is things like there's an unnecessary amount of animations, like switches and lifts and elevators and stuff like that. Like, there was a bit too much of that. But no, it's just I like the fact that I've been playing the game for I don't know how many hours now, but because my obsession with side quests and stuff, I've padded that out a bit myself.
Probably about 10-15 hours, I'd say, by now, maybe.
Probably around about the 10-hour mark, and I'm only at the bit where if I was playing the original game, I'd probably be not even 2 hours.
2 hours? Yeah.
Wow.
So I just think, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just, so I think they're doing a really good job, and I'm looking forward to playing through the rest of it. And then there's like a hard mode afterwards, even though the game's hard enough.
Oh, I know. I'm not looking forward to that.
And I think they've done a pretty damn good job. And it might
Better
not
than I
sound-
expected.
Yes, exactly. It might not sound like I'm enjoying it as much as I am because of those criticisms, but like I say, those criticisms really are the sort of thing I'd roll my eyes over and get on with, not have the game spoiled for me.
And you're conditioned by now to
Yeah.
sort of like
Prepare
take
for
it on the
stuff like
chin.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with
You almost anticipate
with the
it.
Final Fantasy series, you've always got. Quite a lot of those games, I enjoy the gameplay and I enjoy everything. Not a lot of the stories ever really get
Not
me.
all of them can be Final Fantasy 9,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of like that with a lot of RPGs in general. Like, most of the time, I don't really like the characters or
Yeah.
where are the stories, but I really like where they go with the gameplay. Like,
Mm.
a prime example
That's
would
what
be
keeps
was
you
I
going,
really, yeah. I think the biggest example for me was Phantasy Star Universe. I really liked that game, but the story was atrocious.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of that teenage cringe.
Yeah, exactly. But the gameplay was solid. It was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
classic Phantasy Star Online sort of thing. But yeah, the story was just, oh my god.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard things about that. Especially the voice acting. Oof.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
And the singing.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing.
Right, I guess I'll go next. You could probably guess what I've been playing because most of it's been on the internet, like streaming. As usual.
Asphalt.
Asphalt. Still doing my dailies, still doing the special offense stuff. Getting annoyed with some of the challenges they give you where it's like, oh, beat this level in 1 minute 32, and every single time I do it with like a couple seconds late. And just like, some of the levels almost feel like they're designed to just make you crash somewhere on the track somewhere, just to slow you down at some point, or you'll just bump into a wall a certain way and your car will just spin and flip into the sky somewhere and just smash and waste as much time as possible. But yeah, that I've been playing loads of Spelunky. I don't know if you saw the last to hell with it, but I did actually beat Olmec last time, so that was nice. I didn't get to do a hell run because I missed some of the steps, but I did manage to beat Olmec because I thought I might as well just keep going. So
Just
that,
being hard enough.
yeah, exactly. I had plenty of bombs and stuff to just bury a big hole and just let him fall in it, so that was good. That's actually only the third time I've ever beaten Olmec as well, so
Oh right.
yeah, in like the however many 7 years I've been playing that game or whatever it is. But yeah, I've been trying to practice up on that in between the streams as well. Yeah. I've been playing I've been playing Mario Maker quite a lot as well before and since that stream.
Have you been doing the world map stuff? Because that is really fun.
That is really good, yeah. It basically feels like you're just playing whole Mario games now. It's quite fantastic. Of course, there has been cases where I've gone into a world, played like the third level, and there's just an impossible part. And it's like, well, I'm not playing the rest of this. Like, they'll be like, oh, you got to just do this specific triple jump, like with perfect timing, just to climb up this bit of platform. And it's like, well, I've tried that for the last 5 minutes. I think I'm going to leave this world. Well, there was a couple on there that were really nicely done, though. Like, you could tell the levels were developed with the previous levels in mind. Like, they're all designed to be that world. Like, they're all themed around to the areas, and they're all sort of like... There was an actual learning, like, difficulty curve to the levels. Like, it starts easy and gets slowly harder. And there were some really bizarre gimmicks in some of those levels I played. I've also been trying to build a couple more levels of my own. Well, I think my problem is I try to find like some weird gimmick, and then I just keep playing on that gimmick. Like the level I did for the Make It Double stream was pretty much just this one gimmick over and over again, but like in different ways. And one of the levels I'm making at the moment is a similar kind of thing where you've got the frog suit and you're underwater and you're basically trying to aim the missiles that home in on you at Larry Cooper while he's Oh no, not Larry.
Ludwig.
Is he?
Ludwig. Yeah, because he shoots that almost like a bullet hell like pattern of like bullets towards you while you're underwater, and you're just trying to navigate around the bullets to get the navigate the missile towards him, and then it will unlock a door, and then there'll be another one, and it's a slightly different pattern. That's what I've been working on at the moment in Mario Maker. It's not good. None of my levels are good. They're all pretty bad, and they seem. The problem with making Mario Maker levels is you learn how to, you know, you've got your pattern of how they work. You know, you're like, oh, this is easy, I can do this. And you play through it, and you upload it, and you think, oh, people shouldn't have too much trouble with that. I think I put enough arrow signs and sound effects to make it obvious what you're supposed to do. But then after a few months, it's like, oh, 0.2% completion rate. And like, no one likes it. Barely anyone even dares playing it, and barely anyone finishes it. It's like, oh, I made it too hard.
It happens. I mean, there's a lot of levels out there.
Yeah, and so many of them are utter garbage.
Mario Maker has taught me that design in a platformer is not as easy as you think it is.
I think this is the main reason Nintendo made this game, so they can go, look, it's not that easy to make levels. Shut up.
Yeah.
Look, you try and do it. You try to make levels.
Like a new Super Mario Brothers game, and you will buy it.
Yeah, we would appreciate it.
It's like, yeah, it's like, you try making levels, you see how easy it is, yeah? Yeah. Stop moaning about our games.
But it's important to remember you're not going to start out making great levels anyway. You always have to suck at something before you can get good at it.
Oh, yeah. I've only made a couple levels in the second game. I made quite a few in the first one. I think I made about 10 or 11 levels in the first one. But I always end up just sinking so many hours into just tweaking them. And then, yeah. I don't think any of you guys have played my one that I did for the stream yet, but it's not great.
I don't have Mario Maker 2. I don't ever plan on buying it.
I do now that they're putting this new update. I haven't got it yet, but
since they did update, because they didn't just add worlds to it, they also added a load of new suits, including one of the ones I used for that level. Where it
doesn't have Mario 2 physics now.
Yes, basically you get a mushroom that just turns you into Mario 2 Mario, and you can pick things up. You know, when you jump on an enemy, it doesn't crush them; you just land on them and you just pick them up. And the level I made is basically just that. Yeah. It's just you picking up Buzzy Beetles and throwing them at switches and stuff.
That's true. I thought that was an interesting addition.
Yeah.
Never expected them to try that.
They added loads of like new power suits as well. There's one where you can become a bullet bill and you can just fly around at ease.
We had
where you got like a power block on your heads. There's all kinds of new stuff.
I wonder if it's called like Doki Doki mode in Japanese or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Mario USA. Mario USA costume, yeah.
I think it's going to be Mario USA because Doki Doki Panic was based on a TV show or something.
Yeah, so they can't even re-release that now. I think that's why they made Mario USA in Japan, so they could re-release it.
It's the Punch-Out thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
like
it's the same situation with Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream.
Exactly, yeah.
Same game, is just no Mike Tyson anymore. Now he's Mr. Dream, but other than that, he works exactly the same.
AKA the PAL version of Punch-Out.
Yeah, we didn't get Mike Tyson either, did we? No.
You didn't even have a Mike Tyson version?
I don't think we did, no.
No, just Punch-Out.
Oh, is that how early it happened then?
Well, I don't think Japan had the Mike Tyson game either.
I don't know. Punch-Out isn't that popular in Japan.
No, it wasn't. No.
Yeah, the game didn't even have a retail release in Japan, to my knowledge.
Did it not? Not at all.
No, it was available in Japan, but only as like a special prize cartridge in a contest or something, I think.
Really?
Wow.
I did not know that.
Would explain why no one knows what it is then.
The game,
that probably doesn't help.
The game only saw a wide release in Western territories. Boxing is not a particularly big thing in Japan. They do have boxing, but it's not a popular sport at all.
That's interesting. So yeah, basically, pretty much those games. That's pretty much what I've been playing. What about you, CherryT?
Same old, like, cycling between Pokemon, like 3 different Pokemon games. Go, Crystal and Sword.
Yeah.
Maybe
Crystal.
coming back into going back into Sun and Moon briefly to check on the archipelago.
And then also, I suppose I should have mentioned it for me as well. The Nintendo Labo. We've been messing around with that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So before we did that stream, because obviously Cherry was itching to work on the piano, because that's pretty much the main thing we wanted it for. We did that first 10-minute one because you sort of have to get that one out of the way before you could do the others.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bug thing. It's just like a little RC car thing. You slot the Joy-Cons into the side of it, and then it just sort of like vibrates to move around. It makes so much noise. When I did that stream, I started it with the bug thing like moving around, but I didn't have the mic on, so you couldn't hear just how much noise it makes. But yeah, even that's quite fun to mess around with, because the pack does come with 2 of them, so you can make 2 of them, and then you can do like little sumo matches with them. You like bang a gong on the screen, and then it will start playing this like crazy 80s music, and then you basically can just pit the 2 RC cars, both with Joy-Cons in them, against each other until one of them falls over. That's quite fun. And then it's got like this really weird thing you can do where it's like it automatically goes towards things. So like you press the switch and then you put your hand in front of it and it will start like wiggling towards you. It's really bizarre. The only thing I found is, I don't know if it's just because I think the cardboard's already getting a bit worn out on the legs of it, but it keeps going to the left all the time, even when you press both to go forward. It sort of just goes a little bit to the left all the time. It sort of like drifts a little bit. But yeah, you've been tinkering around with the piano a bit more as well.
Playing around with like the different cards. Because and apparently you can make your own ones as well. So I'm going to look into like cutting some up and trying different like waveforms in that. Yeah.
So basically, you could like cut out like a square wave and put it in there, and then it will make the piano sound like a square wave, and then you can do
yeah.
So you can make your own custom ones if you get your own bit of cardboard and just cut it out. It will try and interpretate that as a waveform. That's kind of amazing.
It all works with using the IR camera. So
yes, so one of the Joy-Cons is basically lodged in the back of the piano, and it's basically looking at all the like electric tape that's on the keys.
Oh yeah, the marker tape.
Yeah, and then that's how it knows what keys are being pressed. But
so you can do the coffin meme now, basically.
How that happens.
Yeah, kind of.
I did try to do that.
On the stream, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's enough keys for that.
You were coming close.
But the thing with the keys as well is there's only so many keys, but you can actually like pull a little lever to get the other keys, can't you?
Oh, so you can do an octave higher in that.
In the studio mode, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually like press something and it'll give you more keys, and then like, if you keep flicking back and forth, you can get more out of it. It looks really in depth. You haven't quite got the gist of all of it yet, but there is actually quite a lot to do there, isn't there?
Yeah. So, I was trying to play all sorts of things on the stream. Like, only one of the best new Nightwish songs they've done in a while, the one called Shoemaker. Oh, that actually gave me some chills, that one.
Is that good?
That particular song on the new album.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were trying to play it on the
Labo
piano.
Yeah.
You'd know if you did it really well if you would get a content ID on it. Yeah. Now you all smashed it then.
Yeah. But aside from all those, like I said on the Discord earlier, I been trying to play Just Dance games a bit more to try and get back into a bit of a fitness regime.
Yeah. And
at the moment, I've been like playing mostly Just Dance 18 because that's the most recent version I've got.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to switch between like the online dance floor mode and unlimited, because I've still got about less than 2 months to go from that.
That basically just gives you access to almost every song from previous games, doesn't it?
Not every single song from...
But most.
Quite a lot. It's about 500.
Wow, okay, that's a lot.
But then that also includes like the different alternate choreos and that. For example, there's like this... there's a particular song that's got like a alternate choreography where they're like in sumo fat suits, and it's
It's like you're not going to get any points unless you buy one of those sumo suits. Go on, go out and get one. Otherwise, you're just not going to get any points.
The song's tolerable, but I'm just in it for the funny dance that's in it. It's the same with that song by Psy called Gentleman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's got quite a fun move in that as well.
Fun dance, yeah. Yeah, so even if like the songs ain't necessarily to your taste, some of the dances are just fun anyway, so you kind of tolerate them. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get back into a fitness regime with that, and maybe something else. Maybe I'll go back to the other Just Dance games on the PS3.
Or maybe we should get back into Wii Fit, because I've got the Wii U one. I haven't actually played much of that one. I played so much of the original Wii one, but then the Wii U one I barely touched. So maybe I should get back into that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, if you're looking for a particularly intense workout, Wii Fit is not going to be able to accomplish that for you.
Well, we're not really looking for it intense, just something to do.
I mean, like Wii Fit, when you do exercises in Wii Fit, even when you go through a routine to get through each one quickly, there's quite a pause in between each exercise, so it takes a while to get through them.
Yeah,
and plus because of that period, you're relaxing in between each exercise, so
I guess that makes sense.
It has a hard time keeping your heart rate up. Really, Wii Fit, it's better than no workout, but really
it's good enough.
It serves a bigger purpose to like show off the utility of the Wii Balance Board better than it serves its purpose as a serious workout tool.
Yeah.
Well, one of the previous Just Dance games has like a particular sweat mode where you just keep going, and I seem to remember there was like
it's like an endless mode.
Oh, not an endless mode. It was
but
like
almost.
I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it had a few different themes, and one of the themes was like 80s dance fitness, like get up sort of thing. Yeah.
Some of them going for like half hour.
Oh, the longest one was the 45-minute one. Oh man.
So it's almost like a whole like one of those programs where they just dance the music, kind of.
Oh, what aerobics?
Yeah, so it will have songs, but then there's just like little breathing bits in the middle, and then like little bits where you're doing like steps and stuff like that, isn't there? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what one it was now. I think it was either 4 or 14. But yeah, whichever one it is, I'd like to just try and get back to those.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So I think that's what we've been playing. That's all the games we've been playing. It's quite a lot. Yeah.
We sure took our time with that one.
Yeah. So let's get on with the gaming news.
Yes, I have actually something to quickly interject with on that.
Yeah, go for it.
I've just got an email from Kickstarter for Bloodstained.
Okay.
I just looked at that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The Zangetsu mode and randomizer will be releasing in 3 days. And at the by the end of the month for Switch. But yeah, basically.
That sounds like it
at
must
half
be
the frame
something
rate.
cool.
Yes. So yeah, something that people have been waiting for a while is Zangetsu mode, and randomizers are cool.
I love
cool.
randomizers, so I can't wait for that.
So yeah, that's been a long time coming. Just a quick little update, probably for anyone else, and anyone else's podcasts have talked about it. So
nice. So yeah, I guess the main things we could go into is because obviously E3 is not happening at this point. And for the longest time, people have been saying, "Oh, is there going to be some kind of like digital equivalent?" And I don't think E3 themselves are doing anything. But there's been an announcement for something called the Summer Game Fest.
Okay.
There isn't really a lot of details about it yet. It's pretty much just a website at the moment with not a whole lot on it. But apparently it's going to be 4 months long. They're actually going to be doing it from May right through to August. Like on and
maybe
off.
they've got a lot of stuff to catch up on that hasn't been reported on, maybe.
Yeah. And they've already got quite a lot of game companies involved. I was trying to remember if I could find a list of who's involved, but it's a good chunk of the developers. I think the only ones that are absent were like Nintendo, Sega, pretty much everyone else you can think of. Sony, Xbox, Ubisoft, EA.
Well, I don't.
EA are doing
think
theirs on June
Sega-
11th.
Ah, okay.
I don't think Sega has been confirmed to be a part of this. At least
They
not
haven't.
yet.
No, that's what I said. They're one of the few that are one of the few exceptions.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about companies who were confirmed.
No, the
to
opposite.
be
Because
taking part.
there's so many involved already that it would be quicker to tell you the ones that are not.
I
So, yeah,
suppose
this
it's a good time.
This has been helmed by Jeff Knightley. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley.
yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley.
The guy that made the Game Awards and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
There's a list here. We've got Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, EA, Microsoft, Riot Games, Square Enix, Warner Brothers, all kinds of stuff. So it sounds like it's going to be... I'm just looking it up now.
That's phase 1 as well, isn't
That's
it?
just phase 1, yeah. So it sounds like it's just going to be an ongoing thing, really. And I guess they're going to be doing this as like almost Nintendo Direct style, where it'll be all, like live streams or maybe just videos that go out.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it's interesting that they're going to span this out with over the months of summer, which I imagine they're doing it that way because these companies need to space out their presentations a little more.
Yes.
Because there's already a couple of presentations that were supposed to happen by now, which have been delayed.
Mm.
And it's probably a logistical nightmare for a lot of these companies.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So putting it through like 4 months makes sense because then it gives everyone time to prep for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. We have
Yeah.
got big consoles coming out at the end of the year, so
Plus, I suppose that when a bunch of stuff is announced all at once, some things might sometimes get lost over the crowd in the crowd. So spacing things out a little more might
definitely.
give more games a chance to shine anyway.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
So, if this whole thing works out, it could serve as a great model for how to do this kind of thing in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
I mean,
be
I do
honest,
think E3's on the way out anyway
it kind
in its
of
current
is.
format.
Yes, I think like the fact that it's been cancelled this year wasn't even just entirely,
No.
related to the lockdown and all that.
I think the writing on the wall for these live presentations.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's been on the
Yeah,
wall.
they've-
The writing's been on the wall for the last couple of years, I'd say, ever since like Sony started doing their own equivalents.
It peaked with the Final Fantasy Shenmue thing, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And these things are fun every year, but
Not when you're reporting
from the logistical standpoint, yeah, they do start to get a little more worthless over time as digital news comes out every year the way it does.
I think, as usual, Nintendo were the forerunners.
They kind of
changing
were,
it.
weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about
Pretty
it. They
much,
were the
but
first
Nintendo-
ones to escape E3 and be like, oh, we're not doing live shows. We're going to just do digital ones. And yeah, they were pretty much the first to do it. And now everyone's kind of just copying their format in a way. But
Yeah. They've seen the success of it, haven't they?
Exactly, yeah. The amount of hype that spirals around Nintendo Directs every time, they knew they all had to sort of join in.
Mm.
Yeah, and because other companies took so long to copy their model, whenever someone else does a direct, people immediately compare it to Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, like, hard for a state of play from PlayStation, for example, to stand on its own. I think the last time a state of play premiered, Nintendo Direct actually started trending online instead of state of play.
Oh dear, that's bad.
PlayStation is trending as well.
Oh dear. I know. Google Stadia's been doing their own equivalent of these as well. I watched one the other day. They didn't really announce anything too exciting, but
Of course.
yeah, it's like, oh, here's a game that's already been out for months, but now you can play it with lag. Woo.
The most notable thing that's happened with Stadia lately is when EA recently announced that they were going to have some they were going to bring a bunch of their own games to Stadia, including Jedi Fallen Order. And the only reason people paid attention is because people were questioning why EA won't put most of their games on the Switch, but they'll do it for Stadia of all things.
Because Stadia is just a case of just porting PC games to.
I think
Well, it's not even porting, is it? It's just they have PC games remotely. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's
so
a
the
server.
fact that it hasn't had thousands of games by now, it's just baffling because they're just PC games running from somewhere else. So the fact that they have to slowly announce games that have already been on the PC for ages, I don't get it. Like, who is this for?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure who it's for anyway. Like, I get the idea of it, so people on low-end PCs can theoretically play these high-end games, but
then they also, if they can afford the kind of internet they need to be able to stream that much data, especially like if they're going to play them on their mobiles and go out with it, the amount of data you'd need on your mobile phone to play these games is mental. It's something like 4 gig an hour or something like that. It's
you need bigger you have priorities need fixing more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. If you can afford to stream games that take up that much space, you can afford a good PC. Or even one of the next gen consoles or something. I don't know.
Not to mention, this won't even work on every phone anyway. I think it's only for Google Pixel phones
at the moment.
And I don't know anybody who has one of those.
I think they're supposed to be expanding out, but I don't really pay a lot of attention to it.
Like everything Stadia, it'll be eventually.
Android phones.
Yeah.
But for the time being, it's just Google Pixel phones.
Yeah. So, there isn't really a lot to say about this Game Fest thing because we don't really know when it's going to start yet. But once we do, if they do this in like a live stream format, I'd like to think we should be able to set up some.
I'd like to cover it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll do what we did with E3 last time, where we just get on Discord
remotely.
And, go on Discord and then do the whatever stuff comes up.
I would assume all of this stuff is going to start in June because they said it was going to be a summer event. It's literally titled Summer of Gaming, I think it was.
EA's presentation is June 11th. I don't think it's related to this necessarily, but they might be trying to get ahead of the curve. Who knows?
Oh, do you know who else has got? You know who else is coming back? One thing that our favourite thing from E3's coming back. PC gaming show. 2 hours of looking at a bit of circuit board and some really boring games.
I keep forgetting there was a PC gaming conference.
I wish I could forget. I mean, they've been better in the last couple of years, but that first one, oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
My god, that went on forever. And like, it was just all these like, here's a game where a plane flies over some grass. Let's talk about this for about 20 minutes. Let's talk about this for 20 minutes. It's just like, I guess with this Summer Game Fest stuff, that by the fact that there's going to be like 4 months worth of it and it's going to be spread across all different developers, we can probably pick and choose. We'll pick and choose what stuff we want to cover.
It says it's starting in May, not June. So,
okay. So it should be soon then.
The reason why they say May is because Xbox is doing a conference soon, possibly even this week. I think.
Okay.
I think it's on Thursday.
Well, I look forward to covering that because it should be less stressful than E3 usually is.
Yeah, it's not all crammed into like 1 week and like having to stay up at like 2 in the morning for the Sony one and stuff like that. In our case.
Oh yeah. That stuff is definitely geared toward American time.
Yeah,
because it's an American time.
It's
right. So this next bit of news, I think I'll let Murry Curry talk about this because it's one of his favourite franchises. A new Assassin's Creed has been announced.
I watched the trailer. I thought it was quite interesting. Also, Valhalla, which is not really an imaginative name.
But then when have they been? Assassin's Creed Revolution. Assassin's Creed Extunsions. I don't know.
It looks quite fun. I've actually missed out on this new wave. Like, I've seen what they're like. They taken on a bit of almost like an MMO style of game.
Hmm.
Not in terms of multiplayer or anything like that, but just the way they're laid out. Like combat's a lot more RPG and stat heavy. Like I see numbers floating around, and you collect like legendary loot and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's
it's definitely getting more and more RPG like.
Yeah, and I've literally missed out on the previous two of that. There's Odyssey and the other one,
the Egyptian one.
Yeah, it's Odyssey and another bloody
generic word.
Yeah, but they both do look quite fun. I watched the Pain play some of them, and yeah, they look quite fun. I haven't exactly gone off the series. It's just I much like what may be happening with Yakuza. I think I'm getting fatigued, or I have got fatigued with Assassin's Creed because. Back in the past, I was like 100% in the week they came out, just burning myself out on them, and I can't do that anymore. I just
can't do that on a daily basis.
I just don't have the free time anymore.
I've been out of the loop for Assassin's Creed for a long time. I think the last one I played was Revelations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, but I really like this period in history. I love the Viking invasions, Lindisfarne, and all that. So I might have an interest in it from that angle. I don't know if I'll play it still, but I'm interested. I think it's a interesting way sort of to do Assassin's Creed.
From what I've seen of it, this kind of feels less like Assassin's Creed than the previous ones to me. I don't know why. Maybe because of the setting, maybe because of like the weapon set and the era, but I don't know what it is. But this almost looks like it could have been an original IP.
Yeah.
Do you know it
kind of
probably could have, because it looks to me like they're going to focus on like large scale battles from what the trailer. But then again, as you know, Ubisoft trailers don't really reveal trailers don't really mean a whole lot anyway.
No, I suppose not. No,
the game could look completely different by the time it comes out. But I really like the the setting. It's like it looks to me like you're literally going to be invading England.
It's going to be like Ivan the Boneless and all that era.
Yeah.
So
and we might even see some some landmarks around where we live.
Well, because that's sort of where it came into.
I mean, it says on here the trailer includes King Alfred the Great, the real historical figure who became King of Wessex in 871. So it's all that stuff.
This is when England wasn't one country.
Yes,
and there are 3 kingdoms. And
exactly, yeah.
Alfred was the first king of England.
I think it'd be quite interesting. I think
it's going to be great. I love it when they set the games in England. Like, I'd recommend to all of you to try out, even if you're not particularly like that into Assassin's Creed, try out Syndicate because you can go to London.
That's the London one, isn't it? Yeah.
Proper peaky
that is Whitechapel one.
That is Whitechapel.
I think that's the one I'm most familiar with. Even though I've never played it.
Yeah, that was fun. It's nice as well because another thing you might have noticed is they finally slowed the hell down and stopped making a game a year.
Yes,
that's kind of all I wanted them to do because I not at the time.
Yeah.
I think the reason they've slowed down it recently in particular is this one is going to be the first cross-gen with next-gen. So this is going to come out on PlayStation 4 and 5. And
it's going to be like the Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yes. Yeah, so they're probably prepping for that as well.
That makes sense. They want to do that.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold out a little bit of hope for this one. It might finally be Assassin's Creed that I buy again after a while.
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to be coming out probably around Christmas, like this year. So they're saying it's like holiday this year, so that's what's going on with that. I suppose the other big bit of news this week, if you can call it news, I suppose it's more of a bit of a leak or like a robbery, I guess you could call it.
Curious news.
Mass robbery. Basically, a hacker managed to hack Nintendo's servers or something. I don't really know the full details of it.
It's actually not Nintendo servers. This
is it not?
From No, this is from a company called Broad-On, which has worked with Nintendo in the past. Nintendo worked with them apparently to help them design the hardware and software of the GameCube and Wii.
Right, that makes more sense then. But basically, a hacker managed to obtain over 2 terabytes of Nintendo data, which includes the source code to the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, and the Wii, basically telling you how to build the hardware and the software. Tons of N64 tech demos, all kinds of strange stuff, MIDI files. So apparently we've only seen about 3% of the stuff that's been leaked, and apparently more of it's going to get released this Friday, I believe. And you got to think about it, 2 terabytes of old video game data.
That's a lot.
That's going to be a lot of stuff. So what could be in there is just like the sky's the limit for what could be in there, basically.
Yes.
As of this recording, they're still going through all of it just to make sense of all of it and figure out what
and try and dump some of it and figure out how to.
It's not all laid out like straightforward data where you see it and you immediately know what it is.
Yeah,
exactly,
I mean we've already seen someone backport Mario 64 to native PC very quickly.
So that is technically nothing to do with this leak. Because
really?
The source code to Mario 64 was actually reverse engineered some time ago. I think it was a few months back. Okay. And this PC port is actually a fan-created port using that reverse engineered source code. So that just so happened to come out in the same week, and I think people have sort of confused it with the leak, thinking that maybe Nintendo made an N64 Mario 64 PC port, but that's not the case. It's fan made, but it's using like the original source code from the ROM of the game. So.
I was gonna say that seems interesting that someone already made a fan port of Mario 64, because I'm pretty sure that even with the source code, that's not the kind of thing that you could do within 1 week. Or I like to think
it's hard to say. More complicated than that. I mean, there was a game translation that came out for Tales of Phantasia, and it was a PlayStation version of it. And because the person who was working on the hacking software knew the hardware so well for the PlayStation, that got done in a week. And they had the script already prepared, but they managed to hack in all of it in a week. So it can be done if you're have that intimate knowledge with the hardware. But once again, that's a translation. It's not necessarily a PC port, but it depends how easily. Because is it based off like data that would have been used on the Wii, for example?
Yeah.
It could. It's not an emulation, so
exactly,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what interests me, the Wii OS thing.
Yeah, you're right about the company called Broadon. So apparently this includes various Pokemon data, including debug ROMs for Pokemon Blue, Yellow, Gold and Silver. There's apparently going to be a bunch of Space World 99 demos amongst it. Cool. And an internal Game Boy PC emulator has been found as well. So yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing, so we'll probably end up talking about this next week as well, because more stuff's going to be funneling out as they figure it all out. But one of the main things that's been getting released at the moment is one person's been putting up YouTube videos of all the these tech demos that have been found for the Nintendo 64. I love the name of one of these. It's like a playable little 3D sort of platformer thing where you're basically just walking around a maze. But I love the name of it. It's called Mirror House Cornflakes. Mirror House Cornflakes. That's such a good name. There's also like some strange 4-player snake game. I have to say though, my absolute favourite thing that's come out of this leak is a MIDI file called Sound Monkey.
Sound Monkey, yeah, Sound Monkey.
I think I'm going to end up playing it at the end of the podcast because it is the strangest thing I have ever heard. It sounds like it sounds like it's from the people that brought you like Crazy Bus. It's just nonsense. It just sounds like a chimpanzee being blended.
I got to hear this before the stream, and it was something quite special.
Like this is something that
I heard it too. If it had a fast beat, this could straight up be a penis music meme.
What? Or what?
You've lost me a bit.
Yeah, you lost me.
You never seen the penis music meme?
No.
Can't say I have.
Is it a new one or an oldie?
No, it started out about maybe a month ago, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm not down with the kids. I don't know. I don't know all the memes.
I mean, I
See, that's the thing. As long as they're clean,
Basically,
make sure all of them.
Basically, people took this clip from the movie Megamind, and they put in of someone dancing, and they put in some weird music with a fast beat that's made up entirely of silly cartoon sound effects, and they put penis music on it, and they just play the clip sped up in a loop where it plays through and then it reverses back to the beginning.
So yeah, basically this one song that was found amongst this stuff, it just sounds like a shitpost. It doesn't sound like a real thing, but I apparently it was just like a test to see how MIDIs run on the Nintendo 64,
Yeah.
or something like that. But I guess
I
guess the test failed, because it's just a complete cacophony.
Test assets like this don't typically make a bunch of sense.
No, exactly. They're just testing for the sake of testing. You know,
it's kind of like how some of Nintendo's game demos, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, for example, they have a test stage where the background is just a photo of this random restaurant in California.
Oh yeah.
that exact texture is in one of these N64 tech demos. That exact texture. For some reason, that might have been the first time they used it, and they were like, "Oh, we'll put it in Melee as well as a test." I don't know, but most of these tech demos are not particularly that exciting. Most of them are like, "Oh, here's some Donkey Kong Country artwork, but it's a slide puzzle," and they're like, "Oh, here's a 3D kettle." You know, like the default 3D kettle you get in Cinema 4D. It's just that. So, well, that works. That works in the N64. Next. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see what else comes out of this. I mean, technically what they're doing is illegal. Like, they've stole this stuff. There's I think there's loads of stuff about the IQ, you know, that Chinese N64 controller thing. There's a bunch of DS stuff in there as well. Apparently,
I'm assuming that a ton of code ranging from every system that Nintendo made, starting with the N64 and ending with the DSi.
Yes.
Not the DS, the DSi.
Yeah.
But there's also some there's also some 3DS debug stuff in there. If I
there
remember
is,
right.
yeah. I think there's even
Is the Wii included in there?
Yes. In fact, Wii is the Wii operating system is amongst
now,
it.
Here's what I would love to see: some of that stuff that was scrapped from the original Metroid Prime. You know, Miyamoto came in and went, "Nah, get rid of it." I'd love to see some of that stuff.
I remember there was SDK stuff from the Wii in there, which I assume is part of the Wii software development kits.
Yeah. So
of course, it's important. I feel like I should mention this. It's important to remember that this probably isn't going to help out with emulation efforts as much as you think it does.
No,
because of the nature of how all this stuff came to the public light. This is all still copyrighted code from Nintendo. Nintendo has not released any of this stuff on their own.
Yeah.
So
and emulation, the whole point of emulation is it's built from scratch to imitate the stuff. It doesn't use actual code from the original.
It's the hot topic thing and not the emulator itself.
Yes.
You know, when you build it from scratch. But if you're using an existing source code to make your emulator, that's another ball.
That's
ball
no
game
good.
Entirely.
This is why.
It's episode 69. Give me a break.
That's another ball bag entirely. He actually did that. And of course I was on it. I'm sorry, please continue to speak.
So this is why a lot of emulators, if they do rely on BIOS files for any sort of thing, they usually try to get by as much as they can without a BIOS, or they try
to
to
tell you to go
reverse
find it
their
yourself. Generally,
Yeah, they tell you that they cannot provide a BIOS because it's still copyrighted code.
Exactly.
You're- You're still free to get a BIOS some other way, but unless you extract it from a system that you already own, you're kind of breaking the law if you download it online.
I mean, Amiga were quite forward thinking with that, weren't they? Because they sell theirs.
Yes,
you
they
know.
do. Yeah, they sell their emulator. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can get official
Wow.
emulator. Yeah.
yeah, you can buy their
So,
workbench.
So the creators of the Dolphin emulator in particular, they've already come out and said a few years ago that they've committed to not using code like this, even though it could really help them, because they want to make sure they develop their emulator from a completely legally sound standpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that Nintendo in particular, they hate emulation with a passion, even though they make use of it themselves.
Yeah.
So they want to make people like the guys who make Dolphin. They want to make sure they give Nintendo as little ammo to use against them as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important to remember also that the emulators themselves are not illegal. As long as they're not making use of code they don't have the right to actually use, which is why Dolphin wouldn't want to make use of this stuff.
Exactly.
No, I mean, if Nintendo can come after AM2R, they definitely come after something that's actually using their code. So, you know, so
pretty much.
Yeah, it's a shame because I'd love to see it, because I think that one of the problems with N64 emulation is just that it's just we're not there yet with some games. Like Mystical Ninja still doesn't work properly.
That surprises me. I thought we would have sussed N64 by now, but
it's a lot better than it used to be. But it's like, say, some games just refuse to work, and it'd be nice to have like the Wii OS, and maybe that would have a perfect layer of N64 emulation under it. But that was my thinking, is a sort of Inception level of like way to get to N64 emulation. But not to be. So, you know, wouldn't hold my breath. Just hope that Dolphin gets there one day.
Yeah. So, sky's the limit for what else is left amongst this leak that's slowly being rolled out. What are your most wanted things from the past that have not been seen that you'd like to see?
Mother 3.
I was going to say
the Mother 3 N64.
Yeah. A lot of people are hoping that the Earthbound 64 trade show demo might be in this leak. We don't know if it is yet. We do know that there's stuff from Space World 99, but I don't remember if Earthbound 64 was there.
No, I don't know.
I don't know if it was, but
I think that Viewpoint 64 prototype that leaked a while ago came from Space World 99.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
I'm starting to wonder, because it's this company called Broadon who mostly worked with like their hardware side of things. I am wondering if there is actually going to be much in the way of games in there, but you never know.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll soon find out.
Sure. Maybe not.
Basically, we have no
Only
idea at the
time will
moment.
tell.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like whatever else gets released. If there's any more updates of this in the next week or next couple of weeks, we will keep you posted.
Hopefully, it's something cool that's worth talking about.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother mentioning it. So, I guess that's the news. And because it's the 4th of May, we may as well do the obvious thing and talk about our favourite or least favourite Star Wars games.
Yep.
Why not? Let's just do that. Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Well, I've played a lot of Star Wars games, so do you want me to go first? Or?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so my favourite is tricky. I had 2 favourites. My favourite is a game called TIE Fighter. It's a PC sim. Star Wars. Yeah, and they did X-Wing and they did TIE Fighter. Yeah, they're really good, but they are a bit archaic and they are DOS. There is a Windows version, but it sucks. So, so yeah, you can get that on GOG. And it's playable. It's pretty good.
We did cover X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Yes,
that is a very long time ago.
Yes, that's a pretty good. The only problem with X-Wing and TIE Fighter is they stripped the whole story out.
Oh,
and it's
right.
just a sim. You just
Yeah.
go from mission to mission.
Oh,
It's the
right.
same missions, and it looks better because it's actual better 3D rendering. But
Yeah.
they took out the entire story, which was a shame because it was all nice hand drawn sprite art, and it was kind of cool in the original game. So the only real way to play it to get the full experience is to play the original one. And I really love title. The name is always awkward. It's on the Switch, and it's Jedi Knight 2.
Oh yes, the
that
one that
game
just
is-
randomly got a port.
Yes.
Just like, oh, here it is on the Switch. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
yes, Jedi.
Here randomly have the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
game in the series.
Yeah,
you know.
just have this. They were having a look at put game on Switch on Twitter and going, let's do that.
I mean, it's a great game. It's the best of the series. Jedi Academy's okay, but it feels like a mission pack more than anything.
Right.
So where the original game actually had a story, and it was like the conclusion of Kyle Katarn, who was basically like Han Solo if he were a Jedi. But yeah, that's really good. I like that one. As for least favourite, I don't like Force Unleashed very much, and I think that the fighting game Call Takashi on the PlayStation, whatever it's called, that sucks.
Oh god, yeah. I think I played that
Yeah.
once. I think a friend of mine had that on his PS1, and yeah, it was awful.
And I think Super Star Wars is overrated, personally. The first one specifically.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like I had a cartridge of the second one.
Yeah, Super Empire Strikes Back. Yeah,
I
that's
think
one of
it
the
was
better
over-
ones.
Oh,
I do have.
I don't know if it
I
was
do
that
have
one or the
third.
third one, but either way, it was either the second or the third. But I couldn't get past like the second level. Those games are
Yeah,
so
they're
bloody
very
hard.
hard.
They're ridiculous. Like it's just projectiles on every conceivable angle, and your
Platforming
hitbox is
entire-
like the entire screen. It's just
Yeah.
They're not really fun.
I
to be
have the
honest.
third one, and I've definitely made it past the third level in that game. So maybe that one was just easier. Maybe they felt like they went too far with the difficulty before.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's
maybe.
just me.
The Japanese NES game is quite good. It's weird.
Is that the one where Darth Vader turns into a scorpion or something?
Yes.
Yes. For some reason.
Did that game not come out in the West?
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure there was an NES Star Wars game.
There is. It sucks. It's like the Back
It's a
to the
different
Future
game.
thing, where there was like a Japanese version. It was actually really good, but the American one wasn't. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happened a lot back then for some reason.
Yeah. Well, that's me as far as Star Wars goes.
I guess for me, most of my experience with Star Wars games is probably in the arcades. So
Oh yeah. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Well, I just carpet blanket all the arcade Star Wars games, like all the like the original arcade Vector one.
The
I used-
wireframe one, yeah.
I used to
That's good.
have that on GameCube. There was a demo disc or something with Rebel Strike 2 demo, and then it also had the whole arcade game on it.
Yeah, Arcade 1-Up actually has that to buy. You can buy that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the
Yeah,
sit down?
the,
Is it the sit down cabinet? Can
They
you
do
build
a
your own
sit-down
sit-down?
attachment.
Really? Oh
I've
wow!
seen it. There's a trade
I played
show for
that
it.
in its entirety
Oh, I
in
didn't know that.
Disney Quest. I played that in
'Cause-
Disney Quest back in the year 2000, and I loved it. I think that was my first time I properly played it, and then after that, I got it on the GameCube.
Shame they're impossibly expensive to get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah, I know.
Sorry
those
about
are speaking of arcade one-ups. Apparently, Walmart have been flogging a bunch of them off lately for like $50.
Oh man.
Like the Street
I'd
Fighter
love
2 one and the Mortal Kombat one. And
The Street
whatever
Fighter
it
2
was.
one's £350 here. And it's the only one you can really get
$50 in Walmart. Apparently, everyone's scrambling to find them because most Walmarts don't have them now. But like they were
I'd
just
love one of them.
fire
If only
sailing.
If only I had room in my place for those things.
Well, the best thing is that you can actually buy the PCBs from them. So after you've bought one cabinet,
yeah.
you can just jam in another PCB.
Yeah, or
You
just,
don't have to buy the
or
cabinet
just
for
stick a pie in it, as some people are doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess both the original Atari arcade game I really love. The Sega ones, like the one that got ported to the 32X, that was pretty cool. I think my favourite one was actually Star Wars Trilogy, like the Model 3 arcade game. I played that in its entirety in Disney Quest, and I think I played it to quite a big extent in the old Nottingham Video Game Museum. They had it there. That's a really fun game because it's like a mix of you get the TIE fighter bit at the start, and then you've got like the flying around the Wookiee place. I don't know the terminology of anything. And then at the end of it, you actually get to do like a lightsaber battle against Darth Vader with this like flight stick. That bit is the best bit. That is so fun.
That's the bit everyone remembers.
Yeah, that bit is so fun.
Especially because you see that in like the attract mode demo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there
it's
was
usually the thing that gets your attention.
And then there was also the Star Wars Racer by Sega in the arcades as well. That was really good as well. That ran on really expensive.
I really like
hardware.
that one mostly for just the controls on the arcade.
It took a lot of getting used to because obviously it's made to resemble the Pod Racer. So they actually tried to make the machine actually control like one of those would control. So it's it's almost like a motorbike, but.
It's good that it does make sense, and it is really cool that they did that.
Tell you what I do want to play that is an arcade Star Wars game is the Battle Pods. Have you heard of them? They have some in Southend.
Yes.
Yes, I have played that. Yes, that game is amazing. It's just a big screen.
The Gundam ones into Star Wars and shipped them over here.
Yes.
I wish I could play the Gundam ones.
They had it at EAG a couple times as well,
but
they just had a normal, just like a screen one. But the one you want to go in is the one that has the door, and you just go inside, and it's just like a projection all around you. That machine is amazing. That's by Namco.
I've played those. They're really hard, but it's really cool.
Yeah, just like the sounds just blast all around you.
Because in Japan, obviously, it's Gundam themed, isn't it? And they're all linked up on like a LAN.
I think the Gundam one's like an evolution of that machine. It's like even bigger and even more elaborate than that.
Well, like I say, it's linked up to LAN, so it's actually multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh, wow. But I think the actual cabinet is bigger as well.
It might be, yeah.
Because there was another game that used that same cabinet the Star Wars one does called Max Storm or something like that.
Okay.
It was basically the same game, but instead of Star Wars, it was kind of like Afterburner style game.
Yeah, it was.
They had that in Southend at one point as well. Yeah, that was really fun as well. I think I played that before the Star Wars one because the Star Wars one was like an add-on for the Max Storm machine, and then I think all the Southend arcades replaced their Max Storms with Star Wars because Star Wars. Of course they did.
Something like that. But I've been to a couple Dave and Buster's in here, and they have both the Max Storm and the Star Wars game usually.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I remember Disney Quest had both as well. But yeah, I think most of my exposure to like Star Wars video games comes from the arcade games, so I guess that's my pick.
What about your least favorite, though?
I can't think of any because I don't really play a lot of Star Wars games. So.
What about your least favorite arcade game?
I think I tried to play the Empire Strikes Back game. It was like an isometric thing. I didn't really get it.
Yeah,
on the Atari?
The Atari one, yeah. It was like an isometric thing. That was,
I've played that one. I like it, but it is hard.
Yeah, I didn't really. Well, I didn't really care for it. But I wouldn't say it was a bad game. I just didn't care for it.
Apparently, that Battle Pod did actually get a PSP release in Japan. The Gundam one, at least. Not really Star Wars related, but
no.
Did you say PSP or PS3?
PSP.
Wow. Huh.
So that could be a cool way to play it.
Really?
So yep.
Go from a giant screen all around you to a tiny screen.
Tiny screen, yeah.
I'm surprised they went PSP with that game.
Yeah.
Quite a few Gundam games are popular, like Gundam Versus, and that were really popular on the PSP.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I understand, but like with this particular game, it's just quite an
You'd think they'd want it to be on the most powerful thing, wouldn't you? But,
you would think, yeah.
I would think PlayStation 3 would make the most sense. Yeah.
Got any favorite?
Especially with Namco porting stuff like Dead Storm Pirates and their Time Crisis games from the time on that system.
You played Star Wars Kinect once, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing.
It's back when they used to have
Star
that
Wars
in...
Kinect.
That
was a thing
it was
that
back
happened.
when National Video Game Museum was in...
Everyone's talking over each other, sorry.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
Yeah, this was back when the National Video Game Museum was in Nottingham.
Yeah, they just had it there, didn't they? Just amongst their museum stuff, just like playable.
Yeah, and it did not play very well, but I was in it just for the Star Wars themed covers of songs.
I actually played that as well. It was at an old MCM years and years ago.
It was basically Dance Central.
Yeah.
But with Star Wars songs. But they were like covers of pop songs, but turned into like I'm Han Solo.
Oh, the Han Solo one.
And the lamest dance moves I've ever seen.
Oh, that was a Jason Derulo song.
Yeah.
Wait, is this favourite Star Wars game or least favourite?
Probably only Star Wars game.
I think there was one based on.
I
think there was one based on Holla Batgirl by Gwen Stefani. I think they called it Hologram Girl.
Oh,
They were really reaching. With
Yeah, that was.
This
That's
is
reaching.
bananas. Yes. This.
And then
is
another one was
bananas.
just. And then another one was just Ghosts and Stuff by Dead Mouse, which is exactly the same because that song has no lyrics.
Great.
Yeah,
Good job.
that wasn't good.
Did you play any other Star Wars games, or was it just that one?
Not. I've only like dabbled in other Star Wars games here and there, but I do remember on like I think it was a PC one. I remember like a sort of point and click one, and it had, I remember it having Jar Jar Binks in it.
So it was like an episode 1 point and click?
Don't know that one.
No.
I'll have to see what that one was called.
It probably was made by Lucas Art game.
Yeah,
Lucas
They
Yeah.
made so many episode 1 games, it was ridiculous.
Famous.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Have you got any favourites, Elk?
Well, I haven't played a lot of Star Wars games either. I have played. I've played mostly the arcade games, but I have some experience with a couple home games. So, I'm trying to remember this one game I played that I really liked. I do like all versions of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, that's for sure. Especially the arcade.
Yeah. I had that on. I think I've still got it on Dreamcast. I haven't played a lot of it. It's not as good as the arcade game, but it was alright.
But I haven't. I haven't played the PC or Nintendo 64 versions of that game in such a long time. But I remember I really wanted the game back in the day, and I couldn't have it.
Well, I'm hoping the port for Switch is good.
I just remembered
I'm sure it'll be fine.
another Star Wars game that was complete garbage that I did play. I think it was called Star Wars Demolition. It was basically
Twisted Metal, basically.
Even worse than that. It was basically a clone of Vigilante 8.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was just like, let's make Vigilante 8 but with Star Wars and like all these vehicles from like spin-offs or whatever, and it was just it was
I didn't
bad.
have that game.
It was garbage.
I didn't have that game, but I remembered that I played a demo of the PlayStation version.
That's the version I played, yeah.
Yeah, so not really enough to judge it too much. I just thought it was okay at the time.
Basically,
but
you just pick a vehicle and you just wobble on top of each other until one of you explodes. That's how it played. You just sort of wiggled about, loads of explosions, like pixelated explosions happened. It makes a load of noise, and then someone wins randomly. That's all I remember. It was just, there was no skill to it whatsoever. You could just drive your cars into each other, and they would just sort of glitch on each other and gyrate around a bit, and then one of them blows up. We kind of had a bit of fun with it, just because it was so terrible, but yeah.
I just remembered the game I played that I really liked. It was Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't get on with that game.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite action games on the PlayStation 3. Actually, it was really nice. And I really like the story in that one too. It takes place between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And it shows a lot of the major events that.
Was it a Jar Jar Binks game?
No, Jar Jar wasn't.
I'm talking about what CherryT's looking up. There was a Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, that's what
children's game.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh my
Jar
god!
Jar's
Is that what it
Journey.
is? Jar Jar's Journey. Oh my god! That's a thing apparently. There's a Jar Jar Binks.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Children's point and click?
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's.
Oh boy, that looks.
I was thinking of something else.
Woof, that looks.
But back to The Force Unleashed. It really it went through a lot of the events, the major events in the Jedi Purge between those two trilogies. You played as a protege of Darth Vader called Starkiller, and he was going after the Jedi in that game. But
Yeah.
you know that game came closer than any other Star Wars game I've ever played, even though I haven't played too many. That really made you feel like a Jedi. That really allowed you to make
Just
the most use
fling
of the
people
Force.
around and
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
played
it was-
Force Unleashed. It was all right. My issue with it is that I felt like even though you're a Jedi, they had to find ways to make the mechanics not be too easy because you're a Jedi. So they
I
invented
guess, but
Force resistant enemies, basically.
I guess, but
it's the
I
most
mean,
powerful force in the galaxy. But no, I've got special armor.
Yeah.
But still, I had fun with the game.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty
you know,
fun.
Even with those limitations, it was really fun to play around with.
Mm.
Of course, now we have Jedi Fallen Order, which probably does a better job at the Jedi
I've heard
thing,
that's
but I've
really
never
good.
played it.
Apparently that game's great.
But I've heard it is very good. Yes, yes.
I'll try it someday.
And then the other game I remembered was Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, which I remember. I remember I played a demo of this on the PlayStation, and then later I played the Dreamcast version at a friend's house.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine was obsessed with Star Wars around like the prequel trilogy time. So he ended up with most of the Star Wars games on the PS1. So I think I might have played a bit of Jedi Power Battles as well. It was like a Streets of Rage style game, wasn't it?
I'm just remembering. I didn't actually play the Dreamcast version of Jedi Power Battles.
PlayStation.
What I was thinking of was I played just when I went to a friend's house. They had Star Wars Episode 1, the official game on
That's
PlayStation.
horrible, that game.
Yeah, that's the game I played. Not although I did still play a demo of Jedi Power Battles on the PlayStation. Never played the full game yet, but I remember I really liked the demo a lot.
I've forgotten. I scrapped my favourite game because I completely forgot my favourite. Knights of the Old Republic one. Completely forgot. Completely slipped my mind. That's the best Star Wars game. Fight me.
What did you say? Knights
You're
of the
right.
Old Republic?
Yeah.
You're right. I don't need to fight you. It's fine.
Yeah.
My opinions on Star Wars are not strong in the slightest.
You probably say more aggro.
You know, I was gonna say it kind of shows what kind of Star Wars fans we are, because we didn't go on and on about Star Wars before we started talking about the games. So
we just went straight to the
quite
games.
a contrast. It's quite a contrast to last week when we were talking about the 30th anniversary of the Neo Geo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our passions are different.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway,
as long as the Star Wars game has a bunch of things that go "Roar," and you can blow them up, I'm happy. Like, that's usually good enough. Like, if it's a spaceship shooter that's fun to control and it does that noise, that's good enough.
But for some honorable mentions, I really do kind of like Star Wars Arcade on the 32X.
Yeah, I've got that. It's not bad.
I also played a demo of Star Wars Starfighter on the PlayStation 2. And then, there was one more, but I forget. So anyway, my least favorite games, one of them would be the original, I mean, not the original, but Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy.
Okay.
It's not a bad game. It's the only Lego Star Wars I've ever played, and I just think it's a really boring game. I feel like that with all the Lego games.
Yeah, they're all literally I feel really bad for Traveller's Tales because they have literally made like 1,000 Lego games in the last.
It's all they have to do now.
That's all they make now. It's so sad.
They just make the people assets.
Basically, they just reskin the same game every year, and it's just.
So it's basically like EA and FIFA,
these guys used to. Yeah, it is. It's just Lego blank. Lego blank. I think the only time they tried to do something more ambitious was that Dimensions thing.
Yeah,
and that's the only time they actually tried to vary things up.
I think that's the last Lego game they've made so far, so I have to wonder what they're up to now.
Skywalker Saga is coming out. Lego Skywalker Saga.
Oh, okay. I forgot. There were so many of these Lego Star Wars games that they just kind of meshed together after a while.
All the Lego games meshed together. The only thing that separates them is the IP.
The new trilogy, but at the same time, even with the new games, they just go back to the original and prequel trilogy occasionally.
Well, yeah.
So,
this is literally just jamming them all together, and then.
But you know what? With Lego Star Wars 2, I did actually like how they recreated scenes from the movie. I thought that was really cute, but otherwise, yeah, the game was just really boring.
Yeah, I've tried to play Lego games occasionally in the past and just got bored very quickly.
I can never stick them out.
They're very mindless.
And of course, the other game I didn't like was Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
I never played that.
What was that on PS2?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I had this game on the GameCube. I thought it was
yeah.
I thought it was more boring than any Lego game I've ever played.
Mm.
I think my brother really liked it, but me, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it, because I still can't remember that last Star Wars game I wanted to talk about. Maybe it wasn't all that special. I don't know.
You got any Hunk Thunder?
The only thing that really popped into my head, it's actually popped out of my head again because I've really forgotten it. No, it's just the Star Wars Connect. It's not my favourite, but it's pretty much the only one I've actually played.
Oh, okay.
It's the Star Wars game.
Of course so.
I was just basically given a copy of it, and
please just take it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not your friend
Did it
anymore.
come free with your Connect?
I mean, that kind of happened with
no.
Kinect games in general, didn't it? They were literally
That's the only
giving them
reason
away.
I have Kinect Adventures.
There was this thing. You remember there was that Game City nights they used to do in the Metronome. They had this running joke there where they would do some kind of like music contest where someone has to guess the song that the band were playing. They were playing it as like vague as possible, and whoever won, they would come out and they would put their hand into a bag, and every single time they would either pull out a copy of an old FIFA or a Kinect game. It's like, oh, you got Kinect Adventures. Woo. You could take that to CEX and get 1p. In fact, they'll probably you probably have to pay them 2p for them to take it at this point.
Yeah.
I think I've got Connect somewhere. That was a penny, so I thought, yay! What am I going to do with this?
There was a Dragon Ball game on the Kinect, wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a Hulk Hogan Kinect game, and ironically, Hulk Hogan isn't even in it.
Wait, what? How can he not be in it? Is it just like someone that looks a bit like him but isn't him?
I think I might have to look that up afterwards.
Yeah, I actually have this game. I think my mom bought it for me as a gift. I didn't.
Oh dear.
Bless her heart. I didn't even open it.
Hulk Hogan's main event.
Brand new sealed. It might be worth $1 if it's sealed.
Generally unfavourable
Most
reviews.
likely, yeah.
Generally unfavourable.
Oh, that is great.
But,
So,
yeah, Hulk Hogan is my favorite Star Wars character.
Use the Force, brother.
I think with that descent into madness, I think we should probably wrap up this podcast.
I just remembered that other Star Wars game I was going to talk about, Battlefront 2, on the PSP.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, yeah, I'm done now.
So by talking about it, you mean you mentioned the title?
I was just gonna give it an honorable mention.
Fair
I
enough.
don't feel like I talk about it too much,
That's
especially
fair.
because it's the especially because this is the PSP version I'm talking about specifically. It's a good version of the game, but you know.
Jib and Twitch showed up in the chat just as we were finishing.
Oh.
He'll just have to go backwards and listen to the whole thing.
I missed most of the chat. I was not
Flat
paying
Younger
attention.
was here as well. Cool. Yeah, so I think with that we shall wrap up. And I think I'll leave you all with that beautiful song. But before I do that, let's all say who we were. Sign off. That's what.
Let's all go home.
Let's all go. Let's all go home. We're already home. Yeah, let's all walk away from the mic, I guess. Oh, I've been the
Walk
Gagaman.
away from it, breathe in.
I've been the Gagaman.
I've been Cherry Terrier.
I've been Murry Curry.
I've been Ballbag. I mean, Shelved Gamer.
Oh,
And,
it's
and
happened
I've
again.
been, and I've been Sir Elk.
He was knighted, you know.
Yeah, in
Did we-
case you forgot.
Oh, we missed
I was knighted. I forgot to mention, I was knighted for reminding people to wash their damn hands.
There we go.
I knew we were forgetting something.
Services in health and hygiene, that's what it is.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Providing a gosh darn
20
service.
seconds, don't forget. Then you wash them off with water.
Sake.
Right, we'll be off then.
Music.
I'm
Is
gonna.
that all of us?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's it. Now let's jam
Bye.
out to this monkey music.
Yep.
Oh, sound
Yeah.
monkey.
Have fun with that. See you later. Bye bye.